Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Lucifron versus Wham, one of the finals for the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy August monthlies. And now this is going to be an incredible set. One of these two players will progress, will have that golden ticket to the Redbull Wololo Legacy main event in Castle Heidelberg, Germany. Who will it be? Will it be Lucifron or Wham? Both players are very accomplished Age of Empires 4 players. We wouldn't be surprised if we saw both players in the main event. But today, only one of them can qualify. And to start off this best of 7 set on the west side of the map, in red is Lucifron playing as the French. On the east, in blue, is Wham playing as the Mongols. An interesting civilization matchup. We've seen this very commonly before on several patches. We're going to see an outpost rush. The Mongols are going to be double producing those spearmen, using the influence of the Ovu on that barracks, sending a villager. Wolves have something to say about that. Scout just misses that from Lucifron. I suspect we'll see a double scout opening for Lucifron playing as the French, which is often what's happened. That does give him a lot of vision on the map, and as you can see, he'll see that. I don't know if he was paying attention. If he was, he'll notice there. So that double scout will be bringing home some sheep for Lucifron. Mongols, on the other hand, did he go for 2 or 1 scout? Let's just double check. It looks like so far just the Khan is on the field, I think. Right, where is that Khan? Running around the left side, he sees the gold. Yeah, just the Khan here for Wham. And the concern for Wham and the Mongols is that the French, they're not half bad at defending outpost rushes, and that's because of the fact that they can get up to the next stage relatively quickly and get a couple of units out on the field. Now, granted, they go for the School of Cavalry, which does mean they get cavalry, which is obviously countered by the spears. But what can often happen is kind of often a race in terms of getting those outposts up, and if it doesn't get it in time and pressured off, that could become a problem. But once Wham, or if Wham does manage to get the outpost up, when he's in the feudal age, he'll look to get some arrow slits and placements, and that's a window of opportunity. That time between getting the feudal age and arrow slits for the French, that is the time to try and siege this town if he can, and he can do that with potentially scouts and archers as well. We'll need to transition the villages off of gold to wood as well once he does get to the next stage. He doesn't actually have the gold that he needs. That is a bit of a concern. He's going to try and fight the villagers. He's going to try and fight with villagers, rather. Scouts getting involved, but this is a problem here for Lucifron. He needs gold and needs it desperately. He's going to continue to fight. Microback, one of the weak villagers. The Khan is still on the case. He needs to mine it. He needs that 200, magic 200 to get to the next stage. And it's actually a very good denial here by Wham. That is for sure. Spearman on hand to protect this outpost. The outpost does go up. Will we see a secondary outpost come up? Mining camp is under siege now here, being torched by those spearmen. And mail was put down. It was almost looking for a wheelbarrow opening, but Lucifron has to adapt here. He won't be able to afford that wheelbarrow, that is for sure. There's that feudal age. Wham also going to the feudal age with the deer stones. Now what's key to notice is that the Mongols did spawn with that gur. I'm not entirely sure where it is. There it is. It's on the gold. And that's quite key. That saves a lot of wood. 100 wood that this building costs. That's quite a saving. Acts as a drop-off point for any resource, and it can even be used as a scout at the early stage of the game. But in any case, we're beyond that early stage of the game, because now we see the archer range being built, which is what we expect to see, because the archer range will be able to get those archers to counter the spears. He needs to do that. He's trying to save the raiding bounty by keeping that mining camp from being set alight, and he does so. It's repairing that, doesn't want to give the free resources over to the Mongols. Five minutes, 15 seconds into the game, and we do see that Deerstone is almost completed in a very respectable time, and it's partly because of the Gur spawning with the Mongols in the recent patch. And once that comes through, will we see arrow slits? I suspect we will, and that will be the opportunity for Lucifron to try and pressure. And this is what we talked about, the French being relatively strong at trying to push on outpost rushes. Getting the archers out will push the spearmen up behind, and he can invest in some scouts if he so wishes to, or some horsemen, if he can afford to try and take this outpost down. Will we see the arrow slits come out for Wham? Nothing clicked just yet. Looks like Lucifron trying to stick with the game plan, going for a second town centre, trying to be a little bit greedy here. The outpost not achieving too much here for Wham, and that village I'm not sure where she's went off to, but she hasn't been able to achieve much more. And the chase continues on the Khan. A couple of archers trying to take down the Khan if they can. Villagers on stone, 5 of them, continuing to get villagers on wood, and the outpost rushes over. Arrow slits will be coming out forward Wow, that'll buy him some time, but you don't really feel like it's going to buy him all that much time. There are 2 early horsemen onto the field. Those will want to be upgraded now that he's in the feudal age. Double producing those horsemen. Getting him on the field, looking to do some damage against the archers. Spear's still alive though. Wham doing well to keep them alive. Going through on the west side of this wood line. Gonna look to try and get some value here on those stone villages. Scouts are on hand to check them out. Horseman upgrade is now in. An early Royal French Knight comes out. Going to be able to get the charge attack potentially. You want to draw that knight out if you can. Get them away from the archers. But the archers are charging in behind. And he does. He baits him in. The spearsman trying to get some value. He turns back and fights. But the knight does get the charge attack. Lucifron's micro is on point here. Another 2 horsemen do enter the mix. And there's that stone. Or Lucifron. Interestingly enough, Lucifron doesn't actually have enough stone for the second town centre, so it's a little bit curious. I think Lucifron has had a change of heart. I think he's going to go for more of a feudal aggression, sticking with 1 town centre for now, or maybe he's bringing the villagers back. He doesn't want to keep the villagers there, he wants to keep them safe, I suspect. Yeah, he's going to put them back. A couple of them are a little bit weak. Wanted to wait for the army to come out. Going to be a house there just to make sure it doesn't get population blocked. School cavalry and archery range producing 4 Lucifron for the feudal age army for the French. Mongols going around the left side of that wood line. Does get the charge attack there on those horsemen. Nice play there by Lucifron. As the archers following up. And this is the nice place about having archers. They can do damage even when they're not sort of right up against the fight. There it is. The Khan might go down here. Quite a few arrows being shot at it. Will he go down? The Khan will go down even with the arrow maneuver. He gets the arrow maneuver off, so the horseman will be able to run away. But the Khan goes down. Looks like it's going to be a second town centre out of Wham. So at least Lucifron does now have enough stone for that second town centre. Struggling on the wood count though, that is for sure. Although I say that, no, he had enough wood. He's placed the foundations down somewhere. Looks down, it's down here in the southeast near the deer patch. Very far away from his main base. Relatively exposed, but it will gather that hunt nicely. Second town centre a bit closer to home for Wham. Keeping condensed eco. And kind of important when you're against the French with the mobility that the French have. Archers heading that direction. Knights are heading through as well. Gets a charge attack again on the horsemen. Horsemen are running away though for Wham. Heading towards the safety of that outpost. The horsemen will rush in there. School of Cavalry still under attack. Knights are popping out though, left, right and centre from that School of Cavalry. So that second town centre. Archers keeping those villagers safe, and is actually going to kill the deer towards the town centre close by. Villager count should be ahead for Wham. 33 versus 32 is actually relatively even. And that will be because of the French town centre running faster, but Wham has had that second town centre for a while. The Knights now looking to siege down that outpost. Should be able to take care of that despite the horsemen inside and arrow slits. And especially if chivalry comes into play, the horsemen are going to dive in and get some value. Also, that spearmen going to try and get some value as well, but the archers are behind. Some micro, these hardened spearmen should be taken down. Looks like the outpost is focus firing on the archers. That's good value that he's getting. Decent-ish, making the best out of a bad situation. Horsemen now escape. Horsemen going to try and wrap around and try and take some of the archers. Nicer pull away. They're going to get a charge attack again. Nice micro there by Lucifron to keep his archers safe with the knights. There's that second town centre next to the Ovu. Could actually potentially double produce. Actually, the town centre is not quite in the range of the Ovu influence, so can't double produce those villages, I'm afraid. The archers and the knights heading forward for Lucifron, looking to pile on the pressure. Spearmen are going to have to run home. Wham struggling on the military front. It doesn't really have that many. 13 versus 7. I'm not entirely sure what those 7 are. They're going to need to come back home to defend because his village, his town centre is going to be under attack. Knights kind of getting a couple of damage, a bit of damage there from the town centre. Getting an outpost as well to add to the situation. Spears brace. They do stun one of the knights. One of the knights should go down there. Manages to get one knight kill their Wham with the second town centre. Villages will idle there for a few seconds. Outpost will go up eventually. Lucifron now, thankfully, and he's going to be quite happy with that. Getting the second town centre on that deer patch. The eco will be building up nicely for Lucifron in terms of villager count. 42 for Lucifron, 44 for Wham. Pastures are starting to be put down. Horsemen are going to dive in that wood line. Oh, he thinks better of it. Town Centre is going to be able to focus fire on them. Walls are going up for Lucifron. Not a luxury that the Mongols can have. Fortunately, the Mongols don't get those walls, palisade walls. And now Villager does go down on that wood line. Knights charge in. Will we see chivalry coming? Because there are a couple of weak knights there for Lucifron and the French. Villagers coming out now for Lucifron. Where are they heading towards? Are they going for the boar? There's only 4 of them, so I suspect not. It's going to be the deer patch on the front lines. Looks like behind this Wham is going to go to the next stage with 16 villagers. This could be precarious, actually. We've talked about it before. When you get up to the next stage, it's what? It's when you're most vulnerable. And the French are very good at piling on pressure in the feud age. Look at the number of knights, look at the number of archers he's got. He's going to idle some of the economy here in the second town centre. He's going to see the age up building. He's going to want to try and deny that. Wham deletes it. A lot of villager idle time caused because of that. They spent a lot of time building that. And there are a lot of them building that as well. But a couple of the archers will probably be taken down by the town centre and the outpost. So we'll lose the archers. We don't see any spearmen though really on the field for Wham. And this is a bit of a struggle. A couple of knights might go down. No, the knights will stay alive. The archers all do go down. But I wonder if Lucifron is going to keep the army active. Because he might see this, and he should see this, because you have to bear in mind, he saw the step out. He knows it's being built somewhere. Instead, he's going to go for the wood line. Does get the charge attack, gets 1 villager, maybe a second? Nope. But the horseman takes the damage. Horseman survives. Another knight does go down. Chivalry is now in for the French. He's going to back off. You'll see the gold mine there. Does lose another knight, though. Losses were taken, but losses were taken on both sides. Lucifron 55 villagers to 47. Village elite starting to build up. Blacksmith will come out. That will give him Bloomery for free. The aggressiveness is actually coming out of Lucifron and the French now. Mongols have lost their touch a little bit in that regard. There's the cancellation now for Wham. He gets there. We'll be able to get some lancers out, but will the French be aggressive? Will the French sit back and try and recover and get it to the castle age himself? It doesn't look like it, because Lucifron... Actually, I take that back. He's going up now. What is he going up with? He's going up with the Guild Hall of all buildings. Holy moly. I was expecting to see the Royal Institute, but if we see a late game, this Guild Hall could be very, very key. And Lucifron making the long-term decision in this game. He recognises that both players are on 2 town centres. So I quite like this pick, actually. The Royal Institute will give a 30% reduction of Imperial Age upgrades, and it will enable those Imperial Age upgrades to come for Lucifron and the French in the Castle Age. But with the Guild Hall, this gives technically, I guess, an infinite source of resources. The longer you deposit resources or keep them deposited, the more that comes out of it. And he toggles it on gold. He wants gold being generated. Quite key to keep an eye on that, what the Guild Hall changes to, because you can toggle it between different resources. Will he later on try and get some stone for keeps? We shall see, or will he just mine it? Of course, the French do love getting keeps up. It reduces the cost of their stable and archery units. This could be a nice position, protecting the front of the base and also influencing the School of Cavalry and the stable. Cantled saddles being researched. That'd be a nice upgrade. Increases the Royal Knight's bonus damage after charge from 3 to +10. That's quite a significant bonus. Castle Age Lancers though on the field there for Wham and Mongols. 2 outposts going to go on this front gold line. He needs to protect that gold vein. Cantled saddles does come in, so if he does get the charge attack, it will do significant damage. Villagers going on the right side to the berries. 10 villagers on gold, the equivalent of 15 because of the step redoubt. The step redoubt does give that 50% extra gold drop off, but Lancer's going to be riding around here, getting a few village kills on the deer. Outpost doesn't manage to go up. Knights coming in, charge tank does go off, so the counter saddle's putting to good effect there. The Lancer's charging in. Oh, Wham. But these are veteran Royal Knights now for the French, and he's going to take a good fight here. I don't think Wham can take this fight. Decent number of knights. Oh, he might be able to, actually. Not the strongest, they're not the healthiest here, these knights. But he's microing this really well there, Lucifron, bringing those knights back home, the weak ones. He does have chivalry, so should be able to heal them up quite nicely. Villagers go out again, going to complete the outpost. We hear relics being picked up. But for who? We'll come back to that. We want to see that fight. Actually, it's Wham picking up relics. It's a fight that Wham should be able to win this. Looks like he will. It's a bit precarious here for Lucifron. In fact, looks like Lucifron's bringing reinforcements. That's the difference here. The fact that Lucifron's bringing in some more knights. Let's chase this away. The trouble is for Wham is that he can't micro the weak knights away and heal them up. He doesn't get chivalry. It's something that the French get, and it's a very nice bonus. He's actually now starting to wall up on the right side. Has the sacred site in that control. Quite a nice position there for Lucifron. There's a lot of villagers on the deer, so we'll need to protect those villagers, that's for sure. Relics being picked up here. That's actually quite nice for the Mongols. I think he already has one in play. It doesn't have any just yet. I think that shaman must have died. Picking up another relic. Monk coming out here for the French. We could try and get the relic on that sacred site, I think. Just north of that sacred site. And should be able to. Lucifron keeping his army alive, and now the knight numbers really starting to build up. Oh, this is a smart play though. 2 lancers being sent to that monk and that relic. Monk being brought back though. He'll be able to heal up his units as well. Lancers now cycling on the right side, down the bottom. Looking to try and get some more value. There is a shaman there. Not sure where he's off to. Relic's already been picked up there, my friend. Might have been a rally point. There are 2 knights there for Lucifron. Will Wham pay attention to that? Relic has been picked up. Will he notice that off the minimap? Doesn't seem so far. Shaman running to his death. Trouble is that because the knights just don't die, if he keeps them alive, they heal up. That's a huge bonus for the French at this stage of the game. Monk is coming back home. 2 lancers on the left side. Will he notice that? A couple of villagers there though. Wham, I'm not sure. The French rather, actually. Villagers are continuing the chase as well. Those are very brave villagers. Couple of knights trying to get some value here for Lucifron, but we'll be going down to the lancers back at home for Wham. There is now 1 relic deposited in for the Mongols. There's that keep going in that forward position. Nice protection. Going to be a monastery there for Lucifron. Second monastery. 4 stables there around that keep. That is huge. Relic will be deposited. Wonder where the first monastery was. He must have had one to be able to produce a monk. Oh, it's down here. He's got 2 relics already there, the French. That's very significant. That gold income going to be very nice for him. He's got the guild hall as well, so Lucifron is very well set up for the late game. The French aren't very well known for the late game. But if it does get there, Wham will be in a strong position with those 3 relics in the guild hall. A lot of gold banked up already, 800 in that. It's continuing the chase. It just feels like Lucifron taking the better trades up to now. Let's take a look at the village count, because it should be ahead here for Lucifron the French. 87 versus 82. That is indeed the case. We see a crossbowman switch coming in, and Wham keeping those crossbows at home, keeping them safe, keeping them secure, keeping them hidden. Nice charge on the monk. The monk does go down. 2 relics in that monastery. Looking good for him at this stage. 5 stable knights being produced here. Only out of 4 so far. Struggling on the gold here, Lucifron. Doesn't have the number of villagers on gold he wants. Does have 3 relics. The charge comes in. Wham will lose those lancers unless he pulls away. But that's what he does. Sacred site on the north being taken by Wham. Going to get an outpost in that position as well. What could be a key difference maker in this game is the walls. The Mongols unfortunately don't get that, and it could be subject to raiding because of that. Something we have to keep an eye on. Sacred site looks like it's going to be denied. Lots of lancers there, lots of knights there for the French. Lancers hide in the outpost, but no spring replacement just yet, so the outpost will be torched down. That is significant, not having that spring replacement, I'm afraid. Probably could have waited before sending the shaman there and activating and drawing the attention to it. But there are spears, there are crossbows. So spears, crossbows, the army of choice here. Kills the boar. Trouble is the crossbows don't have much of a meat shield. Knights are wrapping around. A couple of spearmen. The spearmen go down. Now the crossbows are vulnerable. The villagers will probably go down as well. This is an issue. Wham trying to micro and get as much value as he can. Does have the Yam network speed now, as you can see the golden hue. Spears do rush in as well. But feels like Lucifron is quite happy to take that fight despite being countered by those units. He should be able to clear this up, but he decides better of it. Doesn't want to take the fight with more spearmen adding to the mix. Golden Sacred Site has been decapped. Looks like the southern Sacred Site has been capped now for Lucifron. That's in his possession. That's going to be another 100 gold per minute. Add in the 3 relics. Let's just see if he's added any more. Still 1 relic in that monastery. 2 on this, so 400 gold per minute. An extra 10 villages equivalent. Now the outpost in the center of the site is looking to be taken down. The spears do stun those knights, and the knights do get taken down by the crossbows and behind. So there's a nice engagement there for the Mongols. Looks like archery ranges are being put down here for Wham. Not sure that villager will survive though. Spears are torching the building. 21 minutes into the game, and the Lancers, the Knights are wrapping around for Lucifron, getting good value on the woodline. This is the problem of not having walls. The eco is so exposed, especially around this capital town centre where the sheep are. Villagers being pulled out. They're going to go towards the towers. There's not enough space in that town centre, and this is a problem. Villagers running around everywhere. They're completely idled. Knights getting good value here. 97 villagers versus 90, but look at the idle villagers there. 23 at least. Knights got the mobility. They're going to maybe snipe a couple of villagers on the gold vein. Decides better of it. He's going to head back down south. There is a spring replacement in the outpost now, so Knights won't be able to charge too quickly at that. A couple of Knights do go down. Lucifron wasn't paying attention. Another batch of Knights heading to the heart of the base. Drew out the army, but there are still crossbowmen behind there for Wham. We'll be taking a good trade here, you feel. As long as he can keep his army alive. Town center's not garrisoned. He wants to keep the villagers working. A couple of spearmen on the front lines as well. A couple of Knights will die on the retreat. But overall, Lucifron doing well here. As you can see, he's microing nicely. Keeping his distance from the spears. Has the mobility. That's the benefit of the French in this situation. And this army composition. The French have access to the Knights, and they're using them to good effect. That guild hall now has been cashed in. So they had a bit of a gold injection there. Lucifron now toggling onto food. That's what he's struggling with. And now he's looking to try and take that central sacred site with the walls in behind. Lucifron slowly pushing forward. Spring replacement getting the villagers with 1 shot. There are 3 Knights there. Spring replacement get decent damage, but not really enough. And the outpost will go down. Knights are starting to regroup together. And the Knights heading towards that wood line. Has to back off though. A lot of them are very weak. Outpost going on that position. The Knights group together, but so many of them are so weak, and that's the issue. They're healing up. And it's a bit unfortunate there for Wham that those survive, because Lucifron will be very happy about that, having those Knights heal up and keep them and use them again. Crossbow switch coming in for Wham, Lucifron rather, sorry. 2 trebuchets on the field for Wham, so now Wham looking to be aggressive a little bit. Let's see what he can do. 106 villagers versus 97, so Wham keeping up with the villager count as well, not too bad. Mangonel, Springolds, he's getting it. He needs a lot more army though, you feel, to challenge those French Knights. Oh god, these guys are healing up so nicely. Palisade walls are going up. This part is relatively exposed. Springall's being built. 2 trebuchets on the field. Firing at the monks. They don't care. They have faith. They feel they can survive. There are the sacred sites for Lucifron. All 3 of them. That's the problem. He's already got 3 relics and now 3 sacred sites. That's 600 gold per minute. Archery range is now going to have the influence of this keep as well. Nice base building there for Lucifron. Here comes an engagement. Crossbows and spears versus crossbows and knights, but there is a mangonel, 2 mangonels in fact. Springald being built on the floor. Wham needs to pay attention. And the Springald, I think that got deleted. Would be expecting to see some villagers building some outposts. Where are these guys off to? A lot of villagers on that gold vein, that's where they are. Mangonel gets a shot off, but we can see the scattered formation on the crossbows. It could be quite nice for Wham to actually destroy these farms. He'll get bonus gold for that and food. There it is, the raiding bonus will be coming in. Outpost is on fire as well. Mangonels have to head back. The Knights charge. The crossbows get damage off in the background. The Arbaletier doing decent damage. Mangonels firing their rocks from behind though. Gets more farm. Gets more raiding bonuses. Trebuchets in the background, go for the archery rangers. The Knight's going to dive in. The Mangonel's heading back. Springles in behind as well. Crossbow should be able to take out some of the knights. Spearman on hand to take them out as well. This is a good fight for Wham. Wham piling on the pressure. You just feel like Lucifron doesn't have what he needs. Mangonel's getting good value. They're getting rating bonus. This might spiral out of control for the Mongols. Can Wham hold on? It does have 2 keeps. It will take quite a bit of time for those 2 trebuchets to get through that. A lot of the farming economy under pressure here. And Wham really piling on the pressure. A lot of farms on fire. 2 mangonels again focusing on the farming economy. Lucifron is backpedaling a little bit. Needs to build up an army. He's got a horseman switch. That's a nice play there. He needs full horseman. There aren't that many spearmen on the field though, has to be said for Wham. That could become an issue. Wham might need to add more spearmen. Because the horsemen are starting to build up in numbers. Those horsemen will be the counter units to those crossbows. As we see the outpost going up as well. I think the concerning thing for Wham is not decapping the sacred site. Does now send a villager there. It pulls the villagers to the outpost. It's not decapping the sacred site. Gold's still trickling in. I think this is a bit of an oversight there for Wham. He should be able to decap the north sacred site and the central one as well. Being a bit delayed on the central one. He's got a lot on his plate, focusing the attack here in the center. Oh, Springle taking the fights here. Good trade there for Wham though overall. Lucifron won't be too disheartened though. Does take a Springled out. The trebuchet is focusing on the keep. The keep being repaired though. Trouble is Wham doesn't have any stone. We need to keep an eye on the guild hall. Has that moved over to stone? No, it's still in food. Almost 2,000 food just about to be injected into the economy. If he clicks it, that is. Will be arbaletier versus crossbows, but the horsemen in the mix as well. Horsemen going to rush in. The horsemen going to be the difference here. There's not enough spearmen. Only 2 on the field. I can see 3 on the field, and those going to be taken down by the arbaletier. The keep is on fire. More rating bonus. Keep goes down. Knights on that gold vein. Villagers will be going down. That's a bit painful. Will not want to see that. The villagers do garrison inside. There are Springled emplacements in the outpost. But temporarily, Wham is off gold. Wham's army, though, still edging forward. We'll be quite looking forward to take care of that monastery if we can. Deny 100 gold. Central Sacred Site's still not been decapped, though. Looks like the northern one has. Getting an outpost there. We'll be looking to capture that if we can. The horseman numbers really starting to build up for Lucifron. Horseman arbaletier is the army composition of choice. Khan riding in. Please decap that sacred site. It's just got so much going on. And this is quite nice for Wham. He's going to get some rating bonus from his archery ranges being taken down. 2 trebuchets are on the field though for Lucifron. And we're looking to take some of those static defenses in the form of outposts down. The spearmen engage in the horsemen. The arbaletier want to focus fire on the spearmen. The arbaletier though are getting good value. The crossbows aren't focusing on the arbaletier. That's a concern. There's a lot of arbaletier there. 49. And these guys are tanky. They do a lot of base damage, so it's fantastic. But the mangonels are behind. A lot of them go down. The mangonels are doing huge amounts of damage. They're being protected by the crossbows, but crossbow line is almost about to die. Lucifron losing so many numbers. 1 mangonel does go down. Villagers are being pulled. Holy moly. They want to take out the Springolds, I think. I'm not sure this is a good play here. Villagers are going to get sniped. Horsemen are coming in. I'm not sure why he's diving in here. Wham takes the Springolds out with the villagers. That's a bit precarious. He doesn't have multiple turrets on centers. He's dwindling the villagers. Feels like he's going to lose a lot here. He's committed. He takes out another Springald though. Going to go now take on the trap. But the trouble is that Wham is playing this quite nicely because Lucifron can't focus on the villagers. If he does, then his army is going to be wiped out. And Wham is pushing forward again. Lucifron heading back. Siege unpacks. A lot of Springolds there on the field though for Wham. Going to consolidate. Head back towards those outposts. Hasn't capped this northern sacred site. Could be 100 gold per minute for him there. I think he smells blood, but he's not playing the long game here. Let's take a look at the guild hall. What is that on? That is on food still. 3,400 gold food. That is incredible. I think he should really cash that in, perhaps. Maybe put it onto stone so he can get some keeps up again. He needs to hold if he can. Arbaletier horseman still the army composition of choice. Just get the feeling there aren't enough spearmen here for Wham. He's going to struggle. The crossbow have to head back. The trebuchet have to pack up. Just not off spearmen. He's committing crossbows. Quite a few horsemen do go down though, so that's a nice sign. It's just to see if Wham can afford any more siege in the form of mangonels. That'll certainly help his cause, but it's certainly a good fight here. Crossbows versus arbaletier. A couple of horsemen in the mix as well. Here come a bash of spearmen, looking to protect the siege. Heading back towards the Springle replacement towers. The Mongols piling on the pressure. French being defensive at this stage, but the food was cashed in. Just take a look at the food count. That's pretty insane. He's got 1,000 stone as well. And he's gone back to gold now, Lucifron. Biding his time. So much food at this stage. Could be affording Imperial Age if he catches in that gold in a few minutes. Well, it'll be quite a few minutes, but gold is gathering. Imperial Age could be huge here for Lucifron. Wham! Got 2,000 gold of his own. Horsemen are diving in. Might be looking to try and snipe some of those trebuchets. Crossbows need to get in the fight. So do the spearmen. A couple of lancers in there. Sorry, veteran horsemen rather. Looks like Wham does lose his trebuchet, I'm afraid. Springle replacements do a decent amount of damage, but not quite enough. Now the horseman charge comes in. 117 villagers for Lucifron, 112 for Wham. Relatively equal numbers. Wham has the slight edge in military, but defender's advantage coming in clutch here for Lucifron, you feel. Crossbows with horsemen in front. That is the army composition of both players. A couple of Springles in placements. A couple of Springles rather, just general Springles there for Lucifron. But this is a fight that Lucifron can't win at this stage. The horseman numbers really started to overwhelm. And this is strong. And losing that keep was painful. It means the arbaletier costs were not being subsidized. Although actually, it looks like they are now. Crossbows are going to dive in. Will they look to take the villagers out? The trouble is they're running towards the keep. This is not a good position for these crossbows. Once the keep goes up, these will be cannon fodder. He needs to pull back. There's a mangonel. Crossbows lose a lot of health. He has to back off. And now the Mongols are on the retreat now. That keeper's in a very solid position. Lucifron's spending all his food. Holy moly. What has he spent it on? That's what I want to know. He might have sold it. In any case, there is a mangonel on the field now for Lucifron. The mangonel's going to get good damage. The mangonels can't be sniped here. The horsemen are in front, protecting. The mangonel gets another shot. There is scattered formation in there for Wham. Will it be enough though? It looks like Lucifron has the advantage here in military numbers. They're really starting to build up a large army of arbaletier, with the keep as well firing off, and the horsemen will be going down. There is a trebuchet slowly working on those outposts there in the background. You can see two of them in fact. The arbaletier are backing off. They're consolidating the position in that stealth forest. It looks like Lucifron is pushing back actually. He's pushing back hard. Khan has been killed and Lucifron has pushed it back. Wham has to head back home. Getting more Springles. "34 minutes into the game. This is certainly a protracted game number one." Here come the horsemen. Looking to get some raids here. Lucifron, his wood line is pretty demolished. Villagers coming off the gold vein. Horsemen aren't going to get all that much value. But Wham does have the northern sacred site now. Doesn't have the central one yet. Doesn't have that protected. A couple of Springles, four of them. Might be looking to try and snipe some of the Springles. Does snipe two of them. Good trade there for Wham. Oh, doesn't manage to go for the mangonel though. Needs to go back. Horseman diving in. Crossbows in behind. There's a couple of shaman there healing up as well nicely. There's a siege workshop helping with the siege production. Lucifron holding on here. That was a strong push from Wham and the Mongols, but Lucifron is holding on and he's going to be losing some villagers on the wood line. Looks like the central sacred site being captive for Wham. That will help his gold income. Horseman getting a good raid on the left side, but that will be cleared up pretty soon underneath the outpost. I take that back. The horseman numbers are winning here. Looks like Wham might be going to the Imperial Age. That is indeed the case. He's going for the White Stupa, which acts as an overview and produces 240 stone per minute without a stone outcropping. So we'll have technically infinite stone. And this is quite impressive because this will actually be able to get emplacements here. in outposts. Might turn into a gold game though. The game is actually starting to long out, and with that gold input, that could be an issue because, of course, Mongols don't really have a source of infinite gold, but Lucifron did invest in that guild hall, and that has actually been really, really useful for him. That is for sure in this game. Very strong landmark in this stage of the game. The way this game's turning out, that's for sure. Look at the army for Lucifron. The cheaper discount on those horsemen and the arbaletier really paying off. One trebuchet will be going down. I suspect the one will be following. Yeah, it does indeed. And the siege might be going down. This is an issue. We talked about this before. We'll say it again. When you age up, that's when you're most vulnerable. And what just happened? Ram aged up, and it means he doesn't have the food count to build up more military. This might snowball out of control here. 35 villages are idle here for Ram. 26 military on the field versus the 85. Lucifron are going to be pushing strong here. Has a huge amount of military, but Wham needs to hold on somehow. He is in the Imperial Age though. But he needs the upgrades. He needs a way to fight this off. He needs a way to survive. There's 80 army here on the field for Lucifron about to descend upon the Mongol infrastructure. Gonna head into the jugular. This could be it. Lucifron heading forward, but there are spearmen on fields. Lucifron needs siege. He's struggling with the siege. He's got a lot of springles, but only one trebuchet. Got a lot of springles. Gonna take down the outposts, get hold of that central sacred site again, get some control of the map again. Horsemen now looking to clear up those production buildings. Siege workshop will be going down. Looks like Lucifron just going to recalibrate his economy, take a breather, sort out his economy, and then head in for another fight. And the spring ones in behind with mangonels, focus firing on that siege workshop. The siege workshop will go down. And I'm a bit surprised about the passivity of Lucifron's army here. He didn't want to dive in. I think he's waiting for the Imperial Age himself. He is saving up for it. What would he be going up with the Imperial Age? Would it be the College of Artillery? Let's just take a look at where that landmark may be. Don't quite see it yet. Bit of a raiding horseman party on the west side. Lucifron needs to plug that gap. Has a trebuchet on the field now. It's going to be the College of Artillery. Rushing up with 17 villagers. The trouble is that Wham doesn't have military to punish this with. Not enough anyway. Lucifron has played this really well. When Wham went to the Imperial Age, Lucifron pressured. He killed most of the military. And Lucifron has kept his army alive. And now that he's going to get to the Imperial Age, he's going to have resources to upgrade them. Whereas Wham has had to spend all his resources and actually replenishing his army. Getting biology now from the university is Wham. Going to head in for another raiding, I believe, on the south. There is that Imperial Age. There is an overchop on that wood line. That's going to be a concern for Lucifron. Oh no, the horsemen are going to go for the palisades, and that's going to give them the attack notification. The villagers get pulled back, and now he walls that up, and that was a missed opportunity there for Wham. Wham pushing forward now with Imperial Age units. These guys are elite spearmen now, with elite horsemen. Horsemen going around on the right side for Wham, looking to get some value, but the villagers were pulled away. The guild hall still on gold here. I think he might have cashed in. Only 40 in the bank. Horseman going around the right side, looking to get some damage here. And on the left, more raiding. Pulls the army back for Lucifron. Khan has been killed. The raiding has pretty much been stopped there on the left side. Looks like Wham is interested in decapping that sacred site with just one horseman. We'll probably be able to do that. Actually torching down that town centre. Needs to back off with those horsemen. The Arbalete trio have chased them away. Oh, the siege is relatively unprotected there. There is a culverin, a royal culverin. This is a problem for Lucifron. Doesn't have his army here. And it's being surrounded here with the horsemen. Actually, the Arbalete trio are getting in position now. But we'll be losing a couple of the units. Culverin is still alive for now. Gets the shot off there with the Culverin. Horseman looking to try and take that down. Does manage it. Spearmen engaging the horseman. Lucifron losing a lot of units there because of the spearmen. There's mangonel, I think. Yeah, 2 mangonels in fact. And those will take care of the spearmen. Horseman more than enough to deal with that. Fighting underneath the keep as well. Wham loses his army again. Lucifron just being the better player in terms of keeping his army alive. Wham, trying to pressure there's the issue by trying to raid as much as he can. There is a trebuchet there ripe for the taking. He's going to send it towards the wood line. Going to raid that wood line nicely. Let's take a look at the military there. 51 for Wham, 81 for Lucifron. That's been the story for quite a significant period of time of this game. Lucifron keeping his army nice and alive. Right side of Sacred Site has been decamped. Outpost span coming up again. Need to click the emplacement for these guys. Horseman still raiding that wood line. Let's take a look at the village count. 141 for Wham, 81 for Lucifron. Lucifron struggling here. I believe it's just the two town centres. Am I mistaken? Because this feels like the villager production for Wham has been very strong. He's running out of gold positions though. Once this goes, that'll be a difficult position to be in. Lacking the gold really here, Wham. Doesn't have as many military on the field though. Wham is population capped. Cannot say the same for Lucifron. Lucifron is struggling a bit. Loses that mosque, the monastery. There are two trebuchets on the field. Wham, coming in with a strong push again. I mean, Lucifron is just biding his time though. He's got a large military. Not sure what he's waiting for. That relic is being picked up. Lucifron recognizes the importance of that relic and that 100 gold per minute, bringing it back home to that safe monastery. Here comes the siege push again from the east. Two trebuchets only though. That keep position might be going down again. It does indeed. Now these archers don't have the influence. They aren't as cheap as they used to be, those units now. A large number of horsemen, large number of arbaletiers. Lucifron just holding on. He wants to build a large military number. He's got a huge military. Actually, the economy is lacking in, which is rather surprising for the French. He does have two town centres, and he's continuously producing. It's the raiding that the Mongols are doing. The raiding is getting good value. Trebuchet is starting to focus on the archery ranges, the production buildings. We see hand cannoneers being teched in for Wham. We want to build up a death ball of those. Horsemen are rushing in. A lot of villager idle time here. Outpost being rushed up. A couple of horsemen trying to pressurize that position though. Wham's gold income is pretty insane at the moment. He's got 4,000 in the bank. Need to make that count for as long as he can. More archery ranges going down. Lucifron's struggling on the wood. That's a concern because he's losing his production buildings as well. Those all need to be replaced and, well, those cost wood. Get cannon emplacements now. Cannon emplacements, 300 stone, 75 gold. Of course, he's got the white stupa, constantly getting him stone income. Trebuchet is now focusing on the mill. No, we're focusing on the other keep, and that'd be a problem for Lucifron if he loses that. Those stables will lose their discount on those units. But it has to be said, the army for Lucifron is looking strong. He could probably take a fight here, and a meaningful one at that. He's still holding on. He wants to reach that population cap, I think. And he's clearing up the raids on the left side. Two trebuchets now, focusing on the keep still. Lucifron trying to repair with the stone. Let's take a look at the guild hall. It's on wood at the moment. That's what he was struggling with. And he recognizes that he needs wood. And it's the guild hall being used for the wood. Could this turn into the wood game? But the problem is that Lucifron always has that little magic button he can press in the guild hall. Royal Culverin coming out of that Royal Institute. Or Royal College, rather. Two trebuchets still focusing on that keep. And you can see insufficient stone there. That could become a problem for Lucifron. Might need to use the market. Outpost creep starting to ensue. Is still raiding on the left side with quite a lot of units, hand cannoneers and horsemen. Here comes the push though, you feel, for Lucifron. He looks like he's had enough. A spearman's brace against the horseman gets good value there. Hand cannoneers are behind. Now the arbaletiers, as you can see, they are firing with fire. He has incendiary arrows, that's for sure. Takes the fight, clears up a lot there. Military count looking strong here for Lucifron. 102 military versus 67. Slowly but surely, Lucifron is being pegged back again. Springall's on the field. The Royal Culverin is being repaired there by villagers. Lucifron keeping units alive as best as he can. 46 minutes into the clock, on the clock. I think he was pretty happy with his decision to go to the guild hall right about now. That's for sure. Certainly turning into a long one here. French versus the Mongols. Horsemen raiding on those farms. That's not a sight that Lucifron will want to see. Trebuchets continue to take out key buildings. Get the feeling that Lucifron is holding on for a while. He's going to take a big fight. He's constantly having to defend from raids though, which is rather surprising because Lucifron does have access to walls, just not using them. The artillery clear that up. Does feel like Wham is struggling on land units though. Well, it's got 130 economy, 70 military. You don't really see the spearmen, don't really see the horsemen. They're back at home. There's a massive raiding going on there. Horsemen rushing in for Lucifron. Still though, Wham has a lot of population. That's where the military are. Defending. Big raid. Spearmen on the chase. In the middle of the map, siege continues to push forward. Taking down those production buildings. Looking a bit rough there for Lucifron. Still a lot of horsemen there. 27 of them. Being chased by the spears and hand cannons, and does give a window of opportunity for Lucifron to pressure the siege. But there are cannon emplacements in these outposts. Can't get too close. And the spears do get some value there. The chase continues. Slowly but surely, the Mongols are gaining map control with those outposts. And I'm not sure where the spears have gone. They're being brought back home. They need to protect the economy. There are cannon emplacement outposts here. Spearmen going to engage against the horsemen. Horsemen charge in. Spearmen take a couple of horsemen for free. On the west side, more raiding, I believe. Yep, this is great work here by Wham. He's denying wood. This is very key with that outpost. But again, the military number is still pretty strong here for Lucifron, keeping them alive, healing them up. Spearmen engaged, but there aren't enough spearmen, you feel. The horsemen should take this. Actually, no, I take that back. Spearmen are decent numbers here now. Horsemen absolutely melting to these guys. Okay, the horsemen might win, but at what cost? Lost a lot of HP. Good trade though overall. And cannons trying to protect the siege, but there are a lot of horsemen there. Horsemen get us around. Horsemen going straight for the siege and the trebuchets. Artillery in behind. Mongols have to pull back. Wham's army is not in position here. Adds back to the cannon placement outposts. That will help his cause. Will it be enough? A lot of the horsemen do go down. And the artillery, the gold units being saved here for Lucifron, so that's quite smart. He's cashed in another bunch of food from the guild hall, you feel. 4,000 in the bank. Now it's toggling to gold, and it feels like Lucifron can do that all day. Horsemen are raiding. Lucifron 85 villagers, 128 for Wham. Wham definitely doing well on the economy, keeping the village count alive. Just get the feeling the army numbers here for Lucifron on the front line is a lot stronger. Hand cannons might go down. Those are valuable gold units that he won't want to lose, but he will be losing them. Now the siege is exposed, has to head back and retreat behind the cannon outposts. 50 minutes into this game, and it doesn't really look like it's going to let up to it right now. Look at the army though, 3 trebuchets on the field for Lucifron. He wants to push those outposts, and he might just do it. Because the military count looking so large for Lucifron, has gold units there. 89 versus 65. Wham kind of struggling in that front. Wham is population capped, so he won't mind it too much being behind a military as long as he can survive. Trouble is the guild hall accesses infinite gold, and Wham's going to struggle for gold very soon. If he loses the siege, there's probably no way back. Whereas Lucifron does have the guild hall to get gold. Yeah, Wham is going to be out of gold now. He has no gold income. That is a huge concern because, as you know, Lucifron does have gold income from the guild hall. Horseman diving in, big meat shield here for Lucifron with the arbaletier in behind, and this is going to be a strong push here. Well, I'm going to struggle to hold this, you feel. Going to head back to the cannon placements, but trouble is there are trebuchets. There's one trebuchet there, going to start working on those outposts. Horseman diving in, getting decent value. Spearmen, not really enough here. Hand cannoneers, Horseman is the play for Wham. He pushes it back actually, to be fair. Arbaletier are going to micro things. Does have a decent base damage. Horseman going to come in as well. Adds to the fight. Horseman charge in. Looks like there's a mangonel there for Wham as well. That could become key in the fight. 52 minutes on the clock. This is going to be a long set. This is a long game in the first game in the set, but it's been a banger of a game. Wouldn't want it any other way. It looks like Siege, the trebuchet is going to unfold, but the Horseman going to track on the Horseman. Lucifron not going to let those Horsemen unchecked. Only concern is the mangonels on the front line there, 3 of them. They could do some damage to the crossbows. There's no meat shield. There's no real way for Lucifron to snipe them. Horseman comes back. He might get some raiding bonuses of damage of himself. Gonna run into some outposts, and I believe these probably should have... Oh my god, they don't have any emplacements. These two don't have any placements. These don't have cannon. He's gonna head towards the heart of the economy. Gonna try and take some of these villages out. Wait, okay, he's got to go there, that's fine. Well, I'm pushing forward to the siege, but the siege is going to be caught out by the Horseman. Horseman should be able to take 1 or 2 mangonels. Horseman dive in. Trouble is, the army is split, and Wham doesn't have enough army to split. 1 mangonel goes down, does get a good shot off, but the other mangonel goes down too, and this is overwhelming here. Lucifron taking a really good fight here in the middle of the map. And he's raiding here as well at the back. A lot of the army pulled back home for the Mongols. This comes down to the issue that the Mongols don't get walls. He's going to be pressurized. The sacred site in the middle is going to be decapped. Get the feeling that French should be able to build a steady push here. He can wall him behind, continue to gain map control. Hasn't dealt with these outposts yet though. There's the engagement that Lucifron wants. He's got the Horseman on the front line, Arbaletier in the back. Well, the Horsemen do go down for Wham. He's going to struggle. Does have a couple of Horsemen coming on the right side, but they get taken down by the Incendiary crossbows, or Arbaletier rather. Military numbers now really starting to dwindle for Wham. Only 37 versus 91. This is really starting to become out of control. A lot of the armies on the right side. Wham is trading, it's confirmed. He needs that gold income. But he's struggling now. The army pushing forward. Almost an hour on the mark. Now it's Lucifron's turn to be aggressive. Lucifron has the guild hall on gold. He's spent it. He's got it. Gold income coming in. He's going for wood now. Pressurizing the production buildings. Horseman going to dive in, but it doesn't necessarily seem to have enough, and a couple of villagers might lose their lives on the front lines. Landmark is being attacked now. Mass horsemen here for Wham, 35 of them. I'll try and clear up the horsemen there for Lucifron. Maybe a bit of overcommitment there. Doesn't need that many. 2 mangonels pop out from the siege workshops. I could do good work against the Arbaletier if they can get close, but these are elite Arbaletier as well. The army here kept on the back lines for Wham. He needs to readjust and bring his army on the front lines, because that's where he's being pushed. Trebuchets. 2 trebuchets there on the field now for Lucifron. Going to be looking to take out those production buildings. .5 minutes on the clock. Wham needs to hold on if he can. Wham does have a lot of resources to spend. Doesn't have the population capacity, and now he's going to recharge in. He's at population cap. A full horseman here against the horseman and Arbaletier. Not a bad shout, but the military number's not really on point here. 68 versus 101. And as you can see, it looks like Lucifron is slowly trying to push. He doesn't really value the economy right now. He's keeping his army alive. That's the key issue. And it might be the army numbers. Lucifron has dwindling economy, but he has the army numbers. He's going to take a decisive fight here. Wham struggling. If he can't win this fight, Wham might be exposed here. A lot of the horsemen being taken down by the Arbitrator of all things. Scattered formation, there is a Mangonel. The horseman for Wham looking to overwhelm. Mangonel goes down, that'll offer Lucifron a breathing space. There is a Royal Cannon coming in. Actually, it's just a regular cannon. We see Redbull Quinn as well. That'll help in the fight. It looks like Lucifron's going to clean up. Wham's losing a lot of units here. And he's just trickling them in now. Doesn't have the army force he needs. 45 army versus 89. A bit of a mismatch here. And the Arbitrator are looking strong. Outposts going up as well. I think the villager might have died, but in any case, doesn't really matter here because the Arbitrator are itching forward. There are 2 Mangonels. Just get the feeling it's not going to be enough though. Not with the number of horsemen there. There are spearmen in there to defend. The spearmen need to get in front of the Mangonels. Mangonel shots do get off. Lucifron has enough for a keep. Will he put one down on the front lines? Mongols are still fighting back. He still believes. He's still population capped after all. Horseman and Arbitrator starting to build up there in the middle. Lucifron playing this patiently. He knows that he's got the guild hall. He knows that he can be patient. Arbitrator going to take down that Gur. In the north, the trade is being hampered here. Lucifron getting picks here. That is very, very key. If this trade isn't kept safe, that's going to be a problem. No traders there. That means no gold income here. Actually, there are a couple of traders, but these might be sniped by the horsemen. The horsemen are on hand. Wham needs to deal with this. He notices, brings the traders back away. He's going to send the spears there. But as he sends the spears there, the horsemen are going to rush in for Lucifron. Those Mangonels are at risk. There's the engagement. Horseman on horseman. One Mangonel does go down. Lucifron backs off now. Every siege unit he takes, that's a big loss for Wham. Because he doesn't have the gold income that he needs. Check this out. Guildhall on that gold now. Has cashed it in recently, I think. And Lucifron is almost population capped. 102 military versus 63. Does deal with the horsemen. Traders come back again. Still one relatively weak horseman there though. Now the army, or the French, facing up against the Mongols, going in the middle of the map. Lucifron does have a lot of map control. He needs to be careful about those Mangonels. He's respecting those Mangonels and their ability to do damage. Our horseman does now finally get down. Wait. What's going on? How's Lucifron's landmark destroyed? I'm so confused. What happened there? Something went down. Not sure what it was, but in any case, massive horsemen and Arbitrator there. 34 horsemen, 64 Arbitrator. This is the big fight we've been waiting for in this game. 48. And some spearmen involved as well. Mangonels there as well. This is the big fight we might have been waiting for. Look at the economy for Wham. Huge amounts of resources. Still, it's too hard to tell who will win this fight. Outpost will go down. Wins the trebuchet after all. Spearmen head in. They don't do the torch damage they wanted. The outpost does go down. Another outpost going down on the bit more of a left-sided position. Looks like trading is still being idled there. A couple of horsemen rushing in. Yeah, this is very frustrating. He's losing trade carts. Or traders. Feel like things are building up to a big fight here. Looks like the Mongols are heading forward. Wham is heading forward with his Mangonels. Gets a couple of shots off. Doesn't get any kills off from it though. Horsemen riding around the south. Trying to get the flank on the Arbitrator. Both players standing off. They've invested a lot of time into this game, a lot of mental energy, and neither will want to lose, that's for sure. Look at the gold income for Lucifron. I think he might have cashed in another batch from the gold guild hall. That is indeed the case. It's cashed in another batch of gold, and that's actually quite key because Once he takes this fight, he'll be able to replenish. Quite a lot of gold there for Wham though because of the trading. Now here's the engagement. Wham rushing in with the Horseman. The Horseman diving on the Arbaletier. The Horseman for Lucifron engaging as well. Spearman not really in the fight just yet. Spearman trying to rush into the Horseman. They do start to get a couple of hits now. Mangonels unpack. They fire off, but don't get the damage off actually. They don't able to fire. Units back off out of range. This is a strong push for Wham. Horseman does snipe that Mangonel, and it does look like a decent fight for Wham, but I'm not sure if he wins it totally. There are a lot of horsemen here on the south, and he's going to head back. Arbaletier take care of that, and this is now turning to a good fight for Lucifron. Wham having to back off. There are spearmen involved. Engaging against the horsemen, but the Arbaletier are going to sweep that up. Horsemen on the left side going, that's where they're going for Wham. They're going to get some value economy. There's nothing to take out here. Absolutely nothing. Those horsemen won't find any value. Instead now he leaves himself exposed. But he's replenishing the army so fast. Villagers there, trying to get every bit of wood they can. Horsemen denying the trade, that is the key issue. Imagine if Mongols had walls, but the trade being cut off. Horsemen running riot inside his base. Looks like Lucifron is trading as well right now. Lucifron wants that gradual income of gold, rather than cashing in from the guild hall it seems. Horseman diving in. They might take a fight here underneath the town centre, we'll have to see. Going to try for a line lock snipe. He's going for the guild hall. Might lose a lot doing that. Yeah, he's going for a landlock snipe. He's trying to snipe the College of Artillery. I'm not sure if that's the play there. Wham's doing it anyway. He will get the College of Artillery. Villagers being balled to try and heal that up. The guild hall is still alive though. Sorry, the School of Cavalry is still alive, and the guild hall. Oh no, the guild hall's just been taken out. Horsemen are trapped though. Horsemen will fight. Will this be Wham's day? Wham trying to take down the School of Cavalry. He won't have enough though. Wham losing all the military. I think Wham calls it. He taps out, and that game number 1 heads in the favour of Lucifron. Lucifron finishes that first game an hour long. I don't know, it felt like Lucifron managed to just... I don't know, he just wore up attrition there. Wham calls it. Felt like Wham had a lot of resources, but he calls it maybe just wants to go to the next game. He lost a lot of his trade. That could have been part of the problem. He tried to get landmark snipe, and that didn't come off. In any case, game number 1 is over. Lucifron taking that first game. As we head into game number 2, don't go anywhere, because that'll be coming right up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have got the second game between Lucifron and Wham, with Lucifron playing in the northwest of the map as the Delhi Sultanate in red, and also playing as the Delhi Sultanate is Wham in the southeast corner of the map, playing in blue. The map being high view, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, it's a mirror matchup, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on the build orders and to see how they kind of differ from each other. As you can see already, that Lucifron actually is actually a villager behind. I think it might be a second scout. So let's just take a look. I think one of the players, Lucifron, has gone for a second scout. That is proving to be the case. Wham opting just for the 1 scout. So that is the clear difference to start off with. And that's an interesting difference because, of course, that should mean Lucifron has a better chance of getting more sheep. But, of course, the Delhi Sultanate focus on the berries to start off with because of the bonus that they get. The berry pushes, as you can see, have an extra 100 food, and also the Delhi Sultanate generally have a faster rate of income for food than the other civilizations. But, of course, in a mirror match, that kind of bonus is somewhat negated. Both players have that bonus. As we see Lucifron now transitioning onto gold. And we'll be looking to get the gold in order to get that age up. Looks like Wham should be on the way to that next age up quicker, because he does have 3 villages on gold already. And so you get the feeling that Wham will be up to the feudal age quicker, and that could hold him in a good stead, because of course the Delhi Sultanate are very much about the feudal age and the early castle age. Especially because that's when the eco bonuses start to kick in, but also because of the sacred sites. That will be something that both players will want to challenge. Of course, one being in the center of the map, and then the 2 on the sides, pretty equidistant from each other. And so that could be a really good contest between these 2 players. And Wham will be getting to that next stage quicker. It will mean he'll be able to get Sanctity quicker, and perhaps get those sacred sites a little bit earlier than his opponent. But of course, it's going to come down to military presence on the map, getting that map control, getting those units on the field to try and deny that and secure the sacred sites for yourself. And we do now see Wham, going up to the next stage with the Dome of the Faith is kind of expected here in this matchup. I suspect we'll see the same out there for Lucifron. As you guys have seen, Lucifron is lagging behind here. He's going to be behind on the age up, but it should mean perhaps he's going to trade that in for a better economy or perhaps better military. We'll have to see how this one pans out. Lucifron going to be getting that forestry coming in very, very soon. Forestry is already in for Wham. It just feels like Wham's build order is a little bit tighter. Does have the scout there harassing his villager. 2 villagers on gold. That'll be enough to get a decent number of scholars out of that Dome of the Faith. And that's a lot of sheep coming in though for Lucifron. We talked about it earlier. He has got 2 scouts on the field. That's 13 sheeps. Or sheep rather. And it's kind of interesting to note. We'll need to see how much Wham has. Look at that. Just the 1. That is not ideal. And a couple underneath the town centre. 5 underneath the town centre. Certainly a bit of a concern here. Because of course that farming transition might need to come in earlier, but of course if Wham is aggressive early, that will give him some map control and ability to get some pocket ecos. We can see both scouts are coming from Lucifron to kind of harass those gold villagers, having to get that scholar out to help and heal, and that will actually hurt his research time slightly. Not all that much. Going to be a barracks opening here for Wham. Looking to get the infantry on the field, and we know as a Delhi Sultan, the infantry can actually build palisade walls. And so that could be a thing, going for the sacred sites early, walling them in. There's that wheelbarrow. There's the age up for Wham, and Lucifron not too far behind, to be fair. And we can see actually now efficient production being used. The scholars are garrisoning inside that barracks. You can see the little number 1 out of 1 there on the top of the barracks. It means that the spearmen will be producing twice as fast from this barracks. The spearmen are already starting to come out in numbers. Will we see an archery range? And that is the case now. That's actually a really interesting touch in this game. Wham went up first. He made the decision first to go for a barracks. He went and showed his hands first. And Lucifron is reacting by getting an archery range. And that's key because now, well, Lucifron will have the counter unit effectively on the field. Spearman heading out towards the middle of the map. Will we see a stable being added later on in the game for Wham? That will be keen. We need to keep a keen eye on that because, of course, that will be the counter units to the archers. Might be spears and archers to play here for Wham. Sorry, spears and horsemen for Wham, with Lucifron going for archers and horsemen. The horsemen spears versus horsemen archers. It looked like Wham was looking to get the palisades up in the middle. He actually deleted them in the end. He thought better of it. He might be bringing those spearmen back home. Yeah, he is. Has upgraded them to hardened spearmen. Will we see a stable going down for Lucifron? No, indeed. It's actually going to be a barracks. That's actually very interesting. So, spearmen and archers versus spearmen and horsemen. And I have to say, I feel like I kind of like the spearmen archer play here compared to the other combination. As I say that, there is going to be an archery range there for Wham. This is interesting. We do sometimes see this with the Delhi Sultanate. They can go for 1 of each production building, getting kind of what we call an AI army, where you get units of basically every type that you can get. And it seems like Wham's heading that way. And that could be quite key because it means it's very hard to read for Lucifron. He'll need to balance the number of military units he has, depending on what he sees on the field. But of course, Wham can easily adjust because he's got 3 production buildings, 1 of each type, whereas Lucifron doesn't. If Lucifron does end up going for spears and archers as a predominant force, then that will mean that Lucifron just needs to go straight up archers on his own. And that will be the good counter. But at any point, Lucifron then might start to add in horsemen. So it's very unpredictable if you're Lucifron's position here. There are a couple of horsemen diving in on those villagers on the berries. Town centre is in range though, so that'll be tricky to get some good value there. Spearmen on hand to defend that position. We'll need to see how much Wham commits to the archer line here, and it does look like he's going to commit quite heavily. Quite an interesting play. Use the barracks to kind of bait things out, really. But Lucifron does have spears of his own. The horsemen dive in there on those archers. Going to be getting some good value. No spearmen really on hand. Really just charging forward, but the spearmen do get in position now, and the archers getting good damage on the retreat for those horsemen for Wham. See, slowly but surely, Wham getting control of this western sacred site, and that's actually very key. Actually being able to build the gate as well, and his scholar will be able to get there nice, safely and securely. He just needs to escort it over there. And Lucifron lagging in that regard, doesn't really have much map control. A lot of his army staying back home. It feels like Lucifron's being a bit passive on the field. Does have a blacksmith, but good to get this blacksmith upgrades, and look at that. Sacred Site being taken on the left side. And there's not a lot that Lucifron can do about that. Not particularly quickly anyway. He's got infantry units mostly, and that's kind of static army. Doesn't have that mobility. So wherever he does go, he needs to go there slowly. And if he does commit to the left Sacred Site, that'll leave his base open. And so it feels like the horsemen have unlocked quite a lot there for Wham. Getting those horsemen to move around the map with the mobility, and should be able to secure a lot of the map. It's like Wham trying to get this Sacred Site on the right side. There is a wolf involved in scouts, but Wham should clear this up. Should take care of the wolf and the scout, and this gives him the opportunity to go on the right side. But once he does go on the right side, look what Lucifron's doing. He's going for the central Sacred Site. And that's a bit interesting because it does often feel that the center of the map is what's going to be kind of look to be aggressive and be pushed on. And so Lucifron trying to get that central Sacred Site. Does have 3 scholars taking an engagement here actually. Doesn't look like it's a fight that Wham will want to take. He's going to head back. What's interesting with Wham going for the Sacred Sites on the sides, it pulls Lucifron's army in kind of different positions, because what could end up happening in this match is that Wham has access to the Sacred Sites on the west and the east, and the fight all keeps happening on the center. And it means that Lucifron can't really pressure those Sacred Sites on the left and the right, and it means he's got 2 Sacred Sites versus the one, and the one that Lucifron does have is constantly being pressured. Here comes the archers. They're firing over the palisades. Horsemen are going to dive in. Spearmen are on hand now to protect, so he can't really dive in too quickly. But it does look like Wham has better archer numbers, and that's a problem for Lucifron actually. Does have scholars there healing though, so that won't be ideal for Wham. The horsemen are a little bit redundant at this point, and it looks like Wham is going to have to back off in the central Sacred Site, and Lucifron does have control. But it's 2 Sacred Sites to 1. That's 300 gold versus 150 gold per minute passively. Scholar does get almost sniped, but not quite, and he's going to be healed up by his buddy there. So far, so good for Wham actually. Let's take a look at the village count. 33 versus 34, relatively even. And it's because of that early scout that Lucifron got on the field. As we said, moving towards that western, eastern Sacred Sites. So actually a nice play there for Wham on high view today. Village is now going to the berries on the west side of that base. On the other side of the wood line, we might see some outposts there. We shall see. It's kind of open to being attacked. As you can see, we are at the 10.5 minute map mark, and quite heavy feud age. Looks like Lucifron is opting to go to the castle age maybe. He's building up quite the food stores and the gold stores. Let's take a look at the military count. 38 for Lucifron, 36 for Wham. Actually rather surprising. Just feels like Lucifron's economy is a little bit better balanced. But horsemen are going to dive in. As I say that balance has been kicked out of the waters, because Lucifron's going to be struggling on wood at the moment, but that's not what he needs to get to the next stage anyway. He needs the food and gold income, and he's doing pretty well on that front. Look at the amount of army that Lucifron has just outside the base. Archers and spears with a couple of scholars there. Looking to get some village damage, and that might actually end up happening. And look at see these static defenses coming up. We talked about that earlier, whether we'd see that, and that is indeed the case, and it kind of has to at this point. It's going to come down to the micro here. Archers on archers. Looks like Lucifron's backing off. There is a horseman there. Spearmen should really take care of that. I'm not sure why they're not. Well, that's a bit of a missed micro there, I think. The spearman could have dealt with that horseman. Rather, the horseman tanked a lot of fire from the archers, and then Wham's getting the advantage now. Wham firing with his archers. And the back of this, Lucifron looking to get up to the next stage. He does. He has to look back to his base for a second there. Now, Wham might take this fight, and things could really escalate from this point, because they might go very snowbally. Let's take a look at this. Wham microing on the spears. If the spears go down for Lucifron, that would be a problem, because now the horsemen are going to dive in and do a lot of damage. There are 3 scholars apiece, or actually only 2 scholars there for Lucifron. The horsemen dive in anyway. Most of the spearmen are down for Lucifron, and that's a big problem. This is going to be a big clear up. Things could really escalate from here. Wham clearing this up. I think the archer numbers are decent in numbers actually, because of the 2 scholars healing up. Actually not doing too badly. Wham's archers do get cleaned up, but well, Lucifron's going to get cleaned up as well, that's for sure. The horsemen will definitely take care of this, and eventually, whilst Lucifron did pretty well there to clear up a lot of the archers for Wham, his army is fully wiped out. And now with Lucifron up to the castle age, we've said it before on this channel, we'll say it again, when you age up, that's usually when you're at your most vulnerable. Will we see Wham going up to the next stage pretty soon after this? But the big difference is Lucifron doesn't have much more military on the map. Going for some lancers, I think. Investing in a stable. Went up with the compound of the defender there, Lucifron. And Wham quite content actually just neutralizing the central Sacred Site. That could be a key issue. Well, I'm going to be getting up to the next stage as well. We'll see what landmark he goes for, whether he goes for the House of Learning or does he go for the Combat of the Defender. Being placed here on the back of the base. It's going to be a House of Learning. I like that play because this will unlock certain technologies. Honed blades come to mind, where it increases the attack damage for the melee armored units in the form of the cavalry, I believe. Maybe even the man-at-arms. I need to double check that. That's something I need to refresh my knowledge over. There is a spearman there being annoying there for Lucifron. Now the center of the map, that third sacred site in the middle, now being captured by Wham. That's going to be significant. That'll be 450 gold per minute. But as we talk about gold, Lucifron picking up some of the relics. East-sided sacred site not being challenged here by Lucifron. It's not being walled up. Wololo goes off. Will that Wololo get off? The horsemen are going to be taken actually. The horsemen are captured. Wham getting a nice return on that Wololo. 2 horsemen. Central sacred site is not going to be taken by Wham. It's going to be taken back, decapped by Lucifron, and is actually securing the walls again. On the back of this, let's take a look at the technology. It is honed blades, and the man-at-arms and the lancers, as both of them equip a kill G, increasing their damage by +3. Spearman does eventually go down. A lot of weak villages there though, 4 of them. Fairly confident there were more earlier, but relics being picked up. And that might hold things nicely for Lucifron though, those relics being picked up. One is already in the bank, but as we say that, Wham, getting some good value on that gold vein, denying a lot. Causing a bit of idle time, but there is a knight there. There's actually quite a few knights, 3 knights. That earlier age up is actually quite nice there for Lucifron. Going to be picking up some of the archers as well, so that early age up time for Lucifron, it's actually translating into the army on the field and getting some good damage here. The lancers are coming out for Wham as well. Wasn't too far behind eventually, I guess, in the end, and especially if Honed Blade comes in, that's going to be quite significant. Let's take a look at the scholar count. No scholars in that mosque there for Wham. It means the technology will take some time to actually come in for him. Doesn't actually have any scholars here either, though, Lucifron. Oh, as I said that, he just garrisons 1 in there now. Looking to get that sacred site there, Lucifron. Should manage it. Don't forget, though, Wham's had 2 sacred sites the whole time. Looks to get some outposts on this gold vein, but might take some villagers' losses here. 1 surely will go down. The 3 lancers getting some good value. The outposts do go up now, so it'll be nice and secure. At least for now. That center sacred site is now under Lucifron's control. Looks like Lucifron's trying to get the raiding going on. 2 horsemen, well, 1 horseman, 1 knight. Actually, 2 knights there. Do try and get some villager kills there. The villagers come back from those berries. Roundless paying attention quite nicely, and the horsemen there, or the knights rather, going to try and get some value on the other side. Doesn't get all that much. It's being chased by the knights for Lucifron, and Lucifron is diving here a little bit. He's looking to try and get some villager kills. Charge attack comes out for Wham. 3 knights, keeping a lot of the army back home, and that's quite a nice play there by Lucifron. Means he can kind of expand to his pocket ecos as he has been doing. And the knight being sent on the right side of the sacred site. Lucifron paying attention now. Looking to decap that sacred site. 2 knights there. We're taking out that knight for Wham. This is a nice pick off there. Good trades overall. That's what mirror matches are all about. 2 knights going to head forward. Not going to get all that much damage. A lot of charge attack coming in from the knights. And try and focus on some of the villagers, but the villagers stay alive for now. Bit of a raid here on that woodline again. This woodline's been a bit of a problem here for Lucifron. 2 knights being sent there to clear that up. Right, sent on the right side. Idles a lot of the gold economy. Not bad play there. Not bad at all to keep the villagers idle. And that sacred site on the right does get decapped now. 1 apiece on the sacred sites. Let's take a look at the village count. 46 for Lucifron, 42 for Wham. Wham taking some losses there earlier on the raids, of course. Let's take a look at the stats though, because these guys might be a lot stronger. Let's take a look if Honed Blades has come in. Oh no, it's actually being clicked now. I don't think these guys were clicked for a long period of time. Actually, that's a bit of a problem. It might have been just taking all that time. Bit rough there for Wham. Once it does come in, that'll become a big difference. 5 minutes away. A lot of villagers going down here, I think. Lots of charge attacks. Knights running in. Lancers getting so much value. Lucifron losing a lot here. Villagers being pulled left, right, center. There is a crossbow switch, but there isn't all that many. The knight numbers really boosted up here for Wham. 26 military on the field for Lucifron, but 24 for Wham. And just get the feeling that Lucifron's army is not in where he needs it. Look at this. The Knights keeping the crossbows here busy. Just 2 of them. And the rest of them go to the villages. The villager count will be plummeting. Lucifron is down at 40. And that's a big, big change in this fight. Static defenses weren't there. The outpost wasn't built. It was so close to being done. Would have only had 5 villagers garrisoned inside there earlier. But now Lucifron getting the raiding action going on. Which is not as juicy villager picks there as Wham is continuing to get here. And the villagers on the gold vein are incredibly weak here. One does go down. A garrison inside. On the wood line as well. Wham doing a great job of raiding here. Lucifron being ready to death. And there it is. GG. Wham takes the win on the second game. Much shorter than that first game. But, well, a point is a point. A game is a game. And Wham evens up this set as we head into game number 3. We are now back with game number 3 between Lucifron and Wham. And we've got Lucifron playing in the southeast in red as the English. And on the northwest of the map in blue is his opponent, Wham, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. The map is Holy Island. You've got the Holy Island in the middle of the map. And we do have a sacred site on this Holy Island, as well as a sacred site in the middle of the map, between both players rather. And what will be interesting is this civilization matchup. I have to say, I really do favor the Holy Roman Empire, which is what Wham is playing today. And it's partly because of the economy, but also because on water they both have access to the galleys. And sure, I do believe that the English get cheaper galleys, but once you get the galley numbers up, that can be kind of nullifying for both players, especially when you've got the economy that the Holy Roman Empire do have. And whilst we often do see a fast castle build for the Holy Roman Empire, at least on the ladder, we mustn't forget about their feudal age presence, because of course they both get the man-at-arms, both civilizations do, that is, in the feudal age. And the economy is just a lot stronger here for the Holy Roman Empire. So we're expecting that economy to translate into army. And that economy starts right here, right now, with that prelate. Buffing these villagers by 40%, making that gather speed on resources very, very fast indeed. And that's definitely going to be helping that military production as the game wears on. Be interesting to see if we see any short bow rush shenanigans out of the Lucifron, because of course when you go up against the Holy Roman Empire, it's a lot about trying to deny your opponent, deny the Holy Roman Empire the relics as much as you can, delay them as much as you can. That is a lot of sheep there for Lucifron, so that'll help him reduce the time or increase the time it takes for needing that farming transition, which is not necessarily a big problem for the English, because of course farming is something that they do very well. They get cheaper farms and is a very efficient form of food income for them. Of course, the real juicy stuff, where the food really is at on this map, is the deep water fish. As we can see, Lucifron fishing with 2 fishing ships just now. And we do see 2 fishing ships out for Wham as well. Let's take a look at the income per minute. As you can see, it's just that much stronger there for Wham because of the inspiration of the prelate. Food is pretty neck and neck, but still ahead there for Wham. And so is the wood. And that's only going to translate into a stronger military as the game goes on. And that's just a case in point, those numbers here. What we were talking about earlier, how the economy is just better here for the HRE in this stage of the game. It's really where the super late game, that's really where the English shine. We would get there or not, that's the question. Lucifron now transitioning into that gold income, sending 5 villagers, going to be prepping up for that feudal age as well as galley production. Let's take a look at the cost actually. 162 wood, 162 gold for the English. Whereas for the Holy Roman Empire, that cost is a little bit more, 180 and 180. But I'll tell you what, if I could take that cost differential and have a prelate to compensate, I'd definitely take the prelate. Villagers and gold being buffed here, getting that gold super quick now. A lot of fishing ships out for Lucifron, 6 of them. Similar numbers for Wham, just 1 less there. Scout, keeping an eye on things there for Lucifron's got a lot of sheep again. 7 of them there. 12 or 13 back at home, that's a lot of sheep. Of course, that could be saved for a rainy day if he does lose control of the water, but if he loses control of the water, that is a significant disadvantage already. So he won't want to do that, that's for sure. Going up with the council hall with 5 villagers, rushing that feudal age. Often it can be about who gets the galleys out first. Although we've seen quite a few matches on Holy Island. It doesn't really necessarily feel like having the feudal age earlier makes a huge amount of difference because, okay, say you're a little bit later to the feudal age. It means that your opponents might have an extra galley or two, maybe, because don't forget your opponent actually has to travel across the waters. That takes time, and that time is the differential that could be between the two age ups. And so by the time your opponent actually gets to your base, you might have equalized on the number of galleys. And don't forget you also have the home advantage of the dock healing if you should need it. It does put you on the back foot though if you do get up to the feudal age later, but it is actually Wham getting to the feudal age quicker, and that's understandable because going up the Ark and Chapel and the feudal age economy obviously, you know, just a lot better there for Wham. It's putting the Ark and Chapel around the wood line. This is actually quite a nice play. Gonna be able to get that back wood line nicely and safely using the Ark and Chapel as a drop off point. And look at this, the wood and gold are going to be supervised. He's going to be able to get a lot of galleys out, guys, so that extra cost for the galleys that they have compared to the English, I really don't think it's all that significant when you have all these villages being buffed here. Every single one of these villages getting 40%, that's 18 villages. And all of them, if you can just add another 40% to that village count. There's that double dock though coming up for Lucifron. That'll certainly help them get their galley numbers up. Scout walking, trying to get the villager pick there, doesn't quite manage it. Longbows are coming out now. Focusing on the scout. The scout should survive, but not without a lot of HP loss. Scout going around the right side, and villagers on the wood line will be scouted out nicely for Wham. Will Wham actually translate to any land military? It does appear to be the case. He's getting horsemen on the field. That's a nice touch there. Galleys are now fighting. Wham looking to try and take out some of the fishing ships if he can. And who could blame him? It's actually quite a smart move. He might be looking to do some damage on the fishing ships. Doesn't actually get one, but now he's going to head back and heal up, and does have another galley waiting there. And going to the horsemen, that's actually a nice touch with an archery range as well. Horsemen and archers are going to be, well, horsemen and longbows are going to be on the menu there for Lucifron. Versus the Council Hall longbows, it looks like he's just getting a couple longbows to defend there. But he doesn't have a barracks, doesn't have anything to counter those horsemen just yet. Okay, looks like Lucifron is playing this a little bit more passively. He's keeping these galleys at home, wants to build up a large number of them before taking an engagement. Of course, doesn't want to rush into it. There is the barracks coming down now. We'll be getting some spears to defend against the horsemen. As we see those horsemen going across the map now, joining the archer, maybe going past him. Bumping into each other. Waiting for the reinforcements. As you can see, let's take a look at the income per minute. Wham, that food income looking so strong. That's rather a surprise actually. Only working out of one dock though. Galleys are now heading forward for Lucifron. With that gold income looking nice. Wham is actually lagging behind on the wood income though. Lucifron going very heavy on wood, and here we see a bit of the aggression. One fishing ship does go down. Looks like Lucifron playing this actually quite nicely. This is quite a smart play. He's going to take the fishing ships and then he's just going to back off. The movement speed will be the same for both players. 1.58 tiles per second. Actually, it looks like Lucifron might have got an upgrade from the dock. That's actually quite key. Yep, it does appear so. Lucifron actually got additional sails. And also this, fire stations. I'm not sure if that's something unique to the Holy Roman Empire. Let's just check that it's not. That's actually very interesting. Got additional sails. That could actually play a big role in the microfight. This is a smart play. It's about additional sails here, guys. Lucifron playing this very nicely, taking those galleys to kill the fishing ships. And that's a lot of investment there. Those guys are 75 wood per pop, but it's not just the initial investment that's gone. It's now the food income. Wham does reach to the castle age though, a lot quicker than Lucifron. Holy smokes, he got to the castle age and still has a decent amount of gold in the bag. Is Lucifron on the way up as well? He's not. That is a huge difference, guys. And that's the Holy Roman Empire economy there for you. We'll be looking to go up. He's got the Regnitz Cathedral. We're looking to get those relics now, and that's a problem. Will Lucifron look to defend that? Oh, actually, for some reason I mentioned it would be longbows out of this archery range earlier in the game. It's not the case. This isn't an English mirror. It's Holy Roman Empire versus the English, and here are the longbows. They're coming up for the English now. Going forward, that explains why he's so heavy on wood. And now we see an engagement here, but look, Lucifron can back off. He's got the movement speed. And Juan hasn't really clocked onto that, it seems, or maybe he has clocked onto it and doesn't mind too much. Couple of archers there, just keeping an eye on things. Maybe picked off here by the longbows as they head forward. That is the case. Only 3 archers, they wouldn't be able to do too much. Longbows pick them apart. Not enough their damage output just to one-shot them just yet. The galley's heading forward for Lucifron. Might be doing a lot of damage here despite their home advantage. We'll be taking one more galley, and this is going to be 4v2. But quite a few of these guys are pretty weak. Good micro here for Lucifron. Will he bring that galley back into the fight? Will he micro this one back as well? Second galley might be going down here for Wham. Wham might be losing the waters. That's actually a significant problem, but the bigger problem is the man-at-arms on the field here. Wham got Castle Age man-at-arms. He's going to be able to counter everything that Lucifron has. Lucifron's going to struggle. Now, the thing about man-at-arms, sure, he managed to pick one off. Look how much damage he's doing. These guys are being tickled. He's going to back off here. I think Wham doesn't have the upgrades he wants from the blacksmith. In fact, he doesn't have the blacksmith up and running yet. He's working on it. If he gets iron undermesh, that's going to cause a big problem. Look at this. Horsemen dive in. They're getting good value here on the gold vein. Might lose a couple of horsemen though to the spears, but kept a bit of idle time there. Look at this, guys. 3 relics here for Wham. That's going to be the big difference as the man-at-arms come in, and you can tell they've got marching drills queued up. That is for sure. Going to get marching drills. That's one of the first things. And then iron undermesh. He's rushing in and picking apart the longbows again. You can see the longbows struggling here. Does pick up another man-at-arms though. We'll micro this nicely. He's focus firing. Might lose another man-at-arms, but longbows will be going down if this chase does continue. See more relics. You can hear them. There's relics being picked up, and okay, sure, Lucifron wins the waters in a very smart play there using additional sails. Take a look at this. Well, I'm getting some decent kills with the man-at-arms. He's got the tech advantage. He's in the castle age. Trouble for Lucifron. You can see these guys are actually taking quite a bit of damage. I'm not really expected there. I've been kited nicely, but with marching drills coming in, that's going to become an issue. And iron undermesh will follow afterwards. Didn't have the marching drills for that whole time, but now it does. And take an effective fight. Spearman heading forward as a meat shield. Looks like Wham's going to back off here. He's quite comfortable. I think that's a 4th relic. That is a lot of gold per minute, guys. Wham will be very happy about that. He'll be very happy with the way this game's going. 43 villagers for Wham, 54 for Lucifron. And he will be going up with the King's Palace there, Lucifron. That villager lead, the economy lead will be building up. Has a lot of fishing ships though. The one thing is concerning for Wham is he doesn't have that much water control. Doesn't have any water control at this point. Lucifron has that, but he needs to kind of prolong this game for as long as he can, because these man-at-arms are starting to build up in numbers. And he keeps trickling them in as well. Feel like Lucifron getting that castle age. This is the big push that we might see for Wham. He knows that his opponent's just reached castle age, invested a lot in that up tech, and now it's going to be up to Lucifron to try and get a counter unit, maybe in the form of crossbows. He doesn't have an archery range yet, and that could become an issue. Because look, the man-at-arms are coming forward now. Does he have enough longbows to hold on? I'm not too sure. So iron mesh has come in, and with wedge rivets, that's going to become a big problem. Really decent job for longbows though. He must have steeled arrow. That is indeed the case. Steeled arrow making a bit of a difference here, but look at that, marching drills, iron undermesh. Longbows won't be able to hold on for too much longer. Another barracks coming out here. Looks like it might be man-at-arms coming out for Lucifron himself. It does indeed appear to be the case. Man-at-arms going to dive in, try and do as much damage to the longbows as he can, and this is where the raiding comes in. Look, there's man-at-arms on the wood line. That's an issue. Or Lucifron's going to have to take care of that. The man-at-arms will go down, but cause a bit of idle time. Man-at-arms against man-at-arms, but these are Vanguard man-at-arms. These guys have not been upgraded, but they do still act nicely as a meat shield. Look at this on the wood line. It's been idle for so long, and it means that longbows are struggling to come out. Man-at-arms get pushed back, and what's the transition now? You see another stable coming out for Wham. Going for knights now. He's made a transition. This is a nice play. He notices his opponent going for man-at-arms and longbows. There aren't all that many spears on the field now, so he's going to transition to knights. As we see a couple come out. He's going to continue with the man-at-arms as well. Adding a couple of knights though in the mix as well is quite nice. We'll give him mobility, as you can see now, raiding that gold vein, and this is an issue. Lucifron being raided all sorts of places. Lucifron should have a very good food income though. Yeah, he does. Almost 1,200. Top of him, it doesn't have the gold he needs right now because villagers have been pushed off. Longbow's going to be kept in that position. Might try and snipe a lancer there. Knights managed to ride off, and look at these extensive walls here for Lucifron. And try and protect a lot of the map. And we see another raiding party. Problem for Lucifron that his army has been chased. Oh, this is not good value. He's been chasing these two knights, and with Wham putting that army away, he's getting man-at-arms into the base, and there are a couple of man-at-arms there, early man-at-arms there for Lucifron. Getting the armor clad. Doesn't have the full castle age man-at-arms, and that's the issue. He's just going to be beaten to the punch here, and Lucifron under all sorts of pressure. That woodline has been rated so bad. Look at the numbers here. The numbers here, a little bit overwhelming. 26 military for Wham versus the 37, but Lucifron has a lot of longbows. Those longbows don't really get too much value against the armored units here. A decent amount. The problem is now there's a forward keep in that position. If that goes up, that could be GG. That's a hard position to push back for Lucifron. He's going to need some siege. It might be better off losing the longbows to try and deny that keep. The keep does get denied. It was a bit ballsy in the end with the number of longbows on the field. And the man-at-arms are diving underneath effectively two town centres. And longbows getting decent value still now because these guys are veteran. These aren't your standard longbows. Veteran longbows don't do too badly actually here. It is castle age units versus castle age units after all. Lancer does get charged. Keep looks to be put down a little bit further back. Will really protect that stone outcropping. That'll be keep. A couple of villages might go down, but the man-at-arms in the mix. I don't think Lucifron can stay there for too long, and he does back off. Yeah, but the early man-at-arms coming to join in the fight, acting a bit as a meat shield, but I think the keep will go up, and that's significant keep there. We might see a relic being garrisoned inside that as well. Man-at-arms head back. They're going to need to bide some time, but they do, and the keep does go up. And will we see being a relic being brought forward? There are 5 relics in the grasp of the Holy Roman Empire. That's not what you want to see if you're Lucifron. He wasn't able to deny it. And let's take a look at the gold income per minute. Yeah, 1,200 versus 500 almost. That is an insane amount of income of gold here for Wham. That's passive, and that's for as long as the game goes on. Of course, the English do get enclosures in the Imperial Age where the farms generate gold, but we are a long way from that. Now the walls are going up there, Lucifron. Maybe Lucifron is thinking about Imperial Age in terms of getting there or trying to get there and prolong the game for as long as possible. We'll need those static defenses. Villager, though, does get sniped. A lot of fishing economy. Whilst Wham does have the fantastic gold economy. Lucifron has the great food economy. Nice, just being used for scouting information there, really. I do believe that the man-at-arms out of the English are actually a little bit better with the armoured clad upgrade. Sacred Site has been captured as well, so this is an insane amount of gold coming in. And this offers Wham so much map control. Look at this, he's taking the pocket economy, he's taking the deer. He'll be able to take the berries as well, and look at the gold veins he's got under his control. Strong play there by Wham. Things have quietened down a little bit in this game so far. But Wham looking to liven things up again with the knights heading down. Towards that wood line again. Might get charge attack. Villagers on. They are on point. Lucifron paying attention. The ding from the English town centre certainly be helpful on that front. But we see Palace of Swabia coming out of Wham. That's what the concern is, and that is indeed the case. Palace of Swabia going on this wood line in gold, and that could become a problem for Lucifron because that economy is going to be buzzing for Wham once that gets up and running. 57 versus 79. And that will be because of the fishing ships, but that differential is about to reduce very drastically as time goes on because of the Palace of Swabia. Alright, let's get on that wood line. Gets a villager kill or two, but the longbows do take care of that in the end. And there's that Imperial Age timing. Now, I think the problem really is for Lucifron is that this keep is in the way. I've talked about it before. When you age up, that's when you're vulnerable. But the problem is that keep buys Wham so much time. There's no siege on the field here for Lucifron. Siege is what he needs to take care of this keep. Might just go past it on the south. But the keep is in a fantastic position. buys him so much time, guys. Palisade walls are going up now for the Holy Roman Empire. Gonna get him some security behind this. Nice a bit. They're diving a bit too close for comfort. Lucifron might be looking to try and edge towards the Imperial Age himself, though. He's not being aggressive here. What we might see is the elite upgrades there. Lucifron killing a couple of knights there for Wham. Wham being a bit wasteful there, especially with the elite upgrade coming in. And he's going to upgrade those man-at-arms to elite as well. And we do now see a trebuchet coming out, outpost being built, so we will be able to get access to the network of castles bonus. He won't be able to get the network of citadels, not until he gets a keep up. Going on this right-sided gold vein. That trebuchet will take quite some time to get rid of that keep. Wham could potentially bring some villagers to heal up, and look at this, we see the elite knights. Knights might charge in soon. Elite man-at-arms as well. But large numbers here for Lucifron. Wham trying to get here on the right side. Going to try and torch down the palisades. Probably won't be able to get there in time because the longbows are going to start firing off, and I don't think Wham will want to stay there for too long. It does pull back to the safety of that keep. The longbow's getting good value here. Trebuchet still firing off, and Lucifron has actually walled himself completely. He's getting a second trebuchet as well. We'll be looking to get that keep down, and that's bought Wham a lot of time though. He's in the Imperial Age, don't forget. Lucifron kind of lacking the gold at this point. A lot of wood though. Population almost capped here for Lucifron. This is going to be an interesting fight. He's got 78 military versus 35. The issue is that 35 military for Wham are premium units. They're very strong. They're Imperial Age units. So you just get the feeling that Lucifron might struggle here if Wham gets through. Lucifron does have longbows. We'll be able to fire over the palisades. We'll be able to get some good damage before he breaks in. But it looks like Wham will be breaking in anyway. And the concern for Lucifron is that the archers, the longbows, are a bit vulnerable to the knights. Knights get a good charge attack. Man-at-arms on the front line for Lucifron, but they're going towards the front line there for Wham as well. The knights and the man-at-arms, focusing on the man-at-arms there for Lucifron. Don't forget, these are elite man-at-arms against the castle age units, and this is a bit of a problem here. Despite Lucifron having a much larger army, a lot of them are longbows, and those longbows are going to be countered by the man-at-arms and the lancers. And the longbows won't be able to hold this line, you feel, but it's getting good value still in all things considered. The numbers are huge here for Lucifron. Don't forget, we talked about that 80 odd versus 30, and the numbers seem to be winning here. There are still a lot of man-at-arms though, and the man-at-arms, if the man-at-arms get cleared up for Lucifron, that could become a problem. They are holding firm though for the English. This could be a key battle though. The army for Wham trying to break in again. Lucifron survives this wave, but will he survive another wave? I'm not too sure, because that wave is coming in thick and fast, and there's a bombard on the field, and there's nothing there to counter the bombard. This is going to be a problem here for Lucifron. We talk about the Imperial Age, but look at the power spike that gives bombards on the field. And the bombards will make short work of the outposts and short work of the landmarks. This is a huge problem. Lucifron trying to go up to the next stage with the Wingard Palace. A very interesting choice. He's under a lot of pressure. I'm surprised not to see the Berkshire Palace, but he's chosen the Wingard. And now the army going to dive in for Wham. He doesn't mind. He's got Imperial Age units after all. He's going to just dive in, and the army unit's going to do a lot of damage. Bombard edging closer. The problem is for Lucifron, if he doesn't take care of the army, Bombard will take care of the rest. There's that Imperial Age. Could this be an Imperial Age into GG? Lucifron struggling here. Let's take a look at the military count. 33 for Wham, 30 for Lucifron. Lucifron lost his mass of army, and the archers are going to be taken down by the knights, and once they do that, it become a problem. He's got a crossbow switch here, actually. A lot of these are crossbows. These aren't actually archers, most of them. Crossbows will do decent against the armoured units, but there might be just a couple of lance connect needed, but he's going to need more than that, because Lucifron GG's. He taps out. Wham takes game number 3. He pulls ahead in this set for the first time. He makes it 2-1. Wham is looking good so far. Lucifron will want a response in game number 4. Will we see it? Well, you're going to have to find out. Stick around. Let's see it. We are moving over to game number 4, ladies and gents. It's going to be on Frisian Marshes, and Lucifron needs a response. He's lost the last 2 games. It's now 2-1 to Wham. Speaking of Wham, he's playing in red now on the west side of the map as the Rus. And on the south corner of the map, we've got Lucifron playing as the Holy Roman Empire in blue. And with this Frisian Marshes map, it's going to be a nice aggressive map. You can see gold veins are on the front there for Lucifron. That's a bit of a difficult position. That's going to be pressured in early, I suspect, because of course Wham is playing as the Rus. And so once the scouts are done getting the bounty, they'll be on that gold vein. You can kind of guarantee that much. And the gold vein, its secondary gold vein again is further forward. I was looking for it for a while, and that's a very precarious position for the Holy Roman Empire. So this gold could become an issue here. Looking out for the Rus, Wham's got his gold further forward as well. But actually, to be honest with you, it's not as bad as Lucifron's, that's for sure. And plus, this gold is probably in the range of the town centre, so this is actually looking pretty nice for Wham as a spawning situation. And we see Frisian marshes today with a different temperate climate. As you can see, there's lots of snow on the field. We're not used to that, actually. Let's take a look at the marshes themselves and how they look. Very, very nice. Fastest food in the game. We see the pocket economies coming out later for these players. It'll be a bit difficult there for the Holy Roman Empire. They don't really tend to get those pocket economies. So often they go for that kind of uptake to the castle age as fast as they can. But we shall see, because I suspect Lucifron will have to pay a lot of attention in the feudal age. The Rus are very strong in the feudal age. They can be if they're chosen to play that way. And often that's the case against the Holy Roman Empire. You want to try and deny them access to gold. You want to try and pressurize them, delay their uptime to that feudal age and then the castle age if you can. I mean, feudal age won't be a problem, not with this number of villages on gold. But castle age, the Rus will want to deny or delay the castle age and also delay access to the relics. As we can see, the scouts are starting to build in a large number of sheep. Let's take a look at the bounty count. 240 will easily get that 250 mark, unlock tier 2 of the bounty system. There's lots of sheep on this map, Frisian marshes. As you can see, lots of wolves as well. So the Rus are a very nice pick on this map. You can see an early wheelbarrow coming out here for Wham. And then we'll be able to afford that age up very soon as well. And we're going up the Golden Gate, I suspect. Arken Chapel being used here by Lucifron, going on the wood and the stone. That's actually a very interesting position. It's far away from the food inspiration there. And the gold is going to go for the stone and wood. That is super interesting. Will he be going for mass outposts with arrow slits? I mean, you don't often see this for the HRE, going for the stone. It's going to be a nice drop-off point for both wood and stone, though, to be fair. It's an interesting choice there, not looking to boost the food villages. Speaking of which, there are 5 there on the food. The gold villages have been moved as well. Where have they been moved over to? I think they're the ones building the Arken Chapel. Yeah, just going to try and build this quite fast, actually, all things considered. Would it be a 2-town centre play by the Holy Roman Empire? That could explain the situation, actually. That could be interesting. 6 villages being used to get that Golden Gate. Of course, Lucifron will be getting to the next stage quicker. Really rushing it down. It's actually going to move the sheep over to that position. That's actually interesting. It's not going to be all that well guarded. And Wham just signalling. He knows what he's up to. He sees it. It's going to be a second town centre, you feel, with the 4 villages on stone. Now let's bring plenty more sheep here for Lucifron. Trouble for him is doing this very far away from that town centre. And this map is already very aggressive. And so I suspect there will need to be an army on the map here for Lucifron. And we see a house, but no production buildings just yet. Can't afford it. Doesn't have the wood that he wants. Not yet, anyway. Villagers going forward for Wham. Will he be looking for a fortress rush? Oh no. That could be the case. He doesn't have the wood for it, so maybe... Actually, wait. Unless he's already placed the foundation. Just have a look. He might punish this. He might also be going for a boar. Let's just see if there's a boar on the map. Where are those villagers? It doesn't look like a boar. It looks like it's going to be an outpost rush. Wooden fortress rush. And you know what? I think he just bought... Yep, he just used the Golden Gate. He's bought the wood. And he's going for that wooden fortress. He's going to deny the gold. But that's an interesting move. He doesn't actually have any villagers here on gold here, Lucifron. Bit surprised that Wham's not being more aggressive with this. Fortress on that stone mine will become a big problem and be difficult to deny unless they caused a massive villager pull. But one thing to be considered is that that outpost is not actually visible just outside the range, and that's a smart play. I suspect that's probably part of the reason why it's often very important to get that first wooden fortress in a strong position and not visible. Now I'm going to transition to get that gold. This offers actually a significant amount of map control. Villagers going outside on the right side. Or Lucifron, maybe looking for a different gold vein. Or maybe looking to go to the deer, going for the shortfish maybe. And that's going to be the second town centre spot, I feel. Yeah, that is the case. That's going to be the second town centre. Actually a very nice spot, all things considered. This account's going to harass the villagers. But if this sustains the economy for quite a period of time for the Holy Roman Empire, this is going to be an insane spot. 2 shortfishes and the deer, and imagine a prelate here as well. That would be incredible. I've just got a lot of villages on gold. It'll be interesting to see what he does with that. Could calibrate the economy, actually, to be fair. He has got the golden gate, of course. Sending another 3 villages. What are these guys up to? The second town center now is up and running for the Holy Roman Empire. Wooden fortress here back at home as well. We'll be boosting that lumber camp, meaning that there's 20% more wood being dropped off there. Oh, wow. Okay, second town center. Wham is being aggressive with that placement. That is for sure. He's going for a second town center himself and going on the wood and the gold. This is huge. This is really huge. He's going to just bleed the map of gold. And significantly, it's going to be the gold that he bleeds. It's going to be Lucifron's taking the second gold vein position with this, with a town center. And if he gets arrow slits and if he gets these upgrades, you know, the wooden fortresses are no joke here for the Rus, especially with castle turret. Gets the damage of the arrows by +2, and also castle watch increases the sight from this wooden fortress if he gets it by 6 tiles. That is huge amounts of strength to that wooden fortress if he so wishes. The Holy Roman Empire food income will be pretty crazy here, 500 per minute. Double stable coming out here for Wham. Maybe looking to get quite a few knights here on the field and do some damage, raiding damage. Still, I mean, there's quite a lot of potential here. Looks like it's going to be barracks coming out for Lucifron. He deletes it, actually, curiously enough. Actually a bit of a surprise. I'm not sure why he deleted that. I'm really curious just to see what's going on there. Where is he sending these villagers to? Sending the villagers to the gold there, getting outposts, having to venture very, very far out. And look at this, Wham! Just, he notices that gold is such a key resource on this map and it's so exposed. He keeps a scout here and he's going to know all about it. He knows all about this, and that's probably where the knights are going to go. Look at that, knights being sent, villagers being sent as well, 3 of them, maybe to get wooden fortresses there. Is that what's going to happen? Hunting camping going in a very nice spot. We'll have access to the deer and the wood. Wow, I'm playing this fantastically, and actually we've got the benefit of seeing everything in 2020 vision. A couple of villages there. We'll be getting the outpost there, you feel, in time. Knights are going to, one knight's going to charge. Not going to get all that much damage, but wooden fortress, look at it, look at it, look at him do it. Wham. Playing this one so nicely. He's denying gold for the Holy Roman Empire, and this is how you play against them. Got to deny the gold positions. I think the wooden fortress is a bit too ambitious. He might be doing it. I think he was trying to keep the scout away from that. Yeah, he knows it's there. He knows it's happening. Villagers are chopping wood. I don't think that's intentional. Now it does start to focus on building that wooden fortress. Horsemen rush in. Knights are going to rush in. The knights just need to tank. Just need to get this wooden fortress up. What's happening back home here? And the villager count might be a little bit ahead for the Holy Roman Empire, but not by much, because the village is going to be dying here. One does die there. Villager gets pulled back here on the wooden fortress. The outpost is in range. I thought that was a bit too close, and that is the case. Let's take a look at that village count. 39 for Lucifron, 35 for Wham, but look at that food that's in the bank here for Lucifron. That income benefit was looking very strong for a long period of time. Wham is now equalizing that though. He does have access to the deer and getting 16 gold per minute from that hunting cabin. Let's look at the hunting cabin back home. Significantly better, 24 per minute. Lucifron having to invest in wood here for the palisades. It's quite an investment. He doesn't want to lose access to the gold. Can't afford to. 2 villages here. Looking to build one fortress in the stealth forest. And this is very key because I'm not sure Lucifron, he sees it. Can't do too much about it. Apart from get another outpost himself. And this outpost for Lucifron should go up quicker. But look at the idle time being caused. Out of all things. And the knights are diving in as well. Gonna harass the villagers. The knight might go down though. There are 2 outposts. Villager being microed here for Lucifron. To the safety of the outpost, and yep. Wham has to pull back, but you know what? The amount of idle time is causing it is insane. Look at the food count. He's got the food that he wants to get to the next stage almost, but nowhere near the gold he needs. Wooden fortress going on the opposite side of the palisades. And now the wooden fortress going here on the second town centre. That is huge. Wham getting so much map control because of this. Knights diving into that eco. Gets 4 village kills, and there is a tap out. Lucifron didn't notice that in the second town centre. Villagers were going down, and Wham takes another game off Lucifron, makes it 3-1, and Wham getting a huge lead here. This is big. He's edging towards that golden ticket to the main event, Redbull Wololo Legacy. Can he seal the deal? Will he get the next game? We'll have to stay tuned to find out. Welcome back to this set between Lucifron and Wham, and this is going to be a very, very crucial match in the history of these two players because Lucifron has got a mountain to climb with Wham 3 games to 1. Lucifron needs wins from here on out. He can't afford another loss. If he loses this game, then Wham will have that golden ticket to the main event, Redbull Wololo Legacy. That could be happening because Wham is playing on the right side of the map in red as the English, and on the west side playing as the Mongols is Lucifron in blue. The map being all tied, this is going to be a key issue. You can see a decent spawn here for Lucifron, that's for sure. He brought his town centre towards a forward position on the wood, the berries and the stone, the ovu. He's got a secondary stone forward as well. That's a bit of a problem. Does have both back golds, but the issue is really we'll need to secure the map control by walling the sides because the town centre is not protecting the gold at all. And we'll need to see how some pounds are. The English are incredibly strong at defending. The Mongols looking to be aggressive. Trouble is, on a map like this, on Altai, I'm really not sure about the Mongols pick. The English do certainly feel stronger, especially if the game goes late, because of course the English are powerhouses when it comes to the late game. They just need to survive an early rush, you feel, for the Mongols. And here comes an early wheelbarrow build from Wham, going for the deer here as well, with this villager, nice and early. We have seen some interesting builds on Altai since the recent patch, with the survival techniques being researched a little bit quicker, I believe. And because of course the deer meat is quite nice and therefore they're taking it back at home, sometimes players go for survival techniques and go for the deer. Doesn't seem to be the build here for today for Wham, as the Khan brings quite a decent number of sheep back to the town centre for Lucifron. Spaniard will be very keen on trying to get another win here, because if he loses he will be down and out, at least for this qualifying chance for the main event. And Wham is probably playing quite comfortably now. He's had some good games up to now. Of course, losing that first game, which was more than an hour long, that could have been disheartening, but professionals like this bounce back quickly, and Wham did just that, getting the next 3 games on the trot. Now putting on the pressure on Lucifron, making this a must-win game for him. Khan using the Scouting Falcon there for Lucifron. We'll get some vision there for 30 seconds. You just take a look at that. Look at that. The scout's nowhere near, but it's getting the vision. Quite a nice touch there. Now we see an age up coming out for Lucifron, going up with the deer stones as expected, and Wham is actually not there yet. I mean, could this be... I think this could be a fast castle build. And this does look to be a fast castle build here out of Wham. And being on a map like Altai, it's something that's relatively achievable. But he's doing it against a civilization that's known to be aggressive, so that's actually rather intriguing. Will this be punished or not? That is the question. Of course, the Castle Age unlocks incredible amounts of strong units, and will be enabling him to get access to relics. And trouble is, if Lucifron can't put pressure on early, Castle Age units will rip through the Feudal Age units. As we see 3 villages being used in the Council Hall, as long as he can defend his position. That would explain the 4 villages on gold for if it was a fast castle. And only 2 villages on wood at the moment. Yep, this must be a fast castle build. He's not transitioning to wood more, so it doesn't look like he's going to be heavy on going for longbows, that's for sure. Whereas he would be transitioning villages onto wood, and he's not doing that. He's going for the food. This is a fast castle build. Mongols now getting up to the next stage with deer stones. It'll be interesting to see if he places down a production building and what he chooses to go for. Probably going to be a stable. That's often the natural thing to do against the English, but will he have scouted the information that this is going to be a fast castle build or not? That's the key question. As we can see now, villagers transitioning to the deer. We do see that survival techniques has been researched by both players as they go a bit heavy on the deer. In fact, that's actually interesting. Actually, I take that back, sorry. That was survival techniques for Wham, not for Lucifron. But that's understandable because, of course, villagers are on deer quite heavily now for Wham, and that'd be good food income for him for the fast castle. I want to try and push some of these deer closer to the mill, though. A little bit far away. Again, Scouting Falcon being placed up by Lucifron, using the Khan's abilities to good effect. Does take quite a bit of damage from the town centre, though. Not ideal. I need to see what the approach is here out of Lucifron. It's going to be a stable opening. Trouble is, I don't think it's going to be a single longbows, but still, the horsemen still help to try and get some raiding value. You'll see that there are still 4 villages on gold. That might give them a slight whiff of the fact that this could be a fast castle. There's that new age at 5.5 minutes. Quite late there for the English as expected if you're going for castle age timing. So Lucifron will be aware of that. As we see the scout there going towards the gold vein for Lucifron, unprotected of course. Starts to harass some of those villagers. The horseman coming out, being double produced, as well as the upgrade to horseman from early horseman. But let's look at the timing. After you can achieve sort of an 8-minute castle age time, or 8 to 9 minute castle age from the English. So will it get there before the horsemen start to harass too much? Horsemen about to pop out now. And we're making their way across the map soon. This is a nice touch to go for the horsemen first and then the upgrades, because of course now the horsemen can actually go forward. And this horseman is just going to clear up the scout. We'll be able to take care of it because of course the movement speed for the horseman quite a bit faster than the scout. And as we see, the food and gold income almost coming out for Wham. And this will be a second town centre build in the form of the King's Palace. You get the feeling anyway. Could see something wacky. Who knows? Scout is being pressurized though. The other horseman, whereabouts is that guy? The other horseman scouting around in the back, see if he gets some value on the gold miners or the wood choppers, but the wood chopper's been pulled closer to the town centre, so the horseman certainly won't want to pressurize that position. As you can see, the gold income is good. It's good for the castle age, it's good for the castle age for the food now as well. Will he go for the King's Palace? This could be a nice spot for it back at home, and that is the case, going for the gold. Make sure that's safe and secure as he gets the palisades on one side. Not the other side just yet though, but we'll have the King's Palace as we hear the Mongols tune in the background. Start to really mass up and build up in tempo. 9 villages coming out around the back. Going with the step out. Going to be a castle age uptime for Lucifron as well, but it will be delayed compared to his opponent. Of course, he invested in the stable and horseman. That's partly the reason why I didn't get too much value out of that though. Step out will certainly help with the power spike in that castle age. We will see knights out of both players. We shall see. Wham, putting those villages away from the deer patch now. Eight minutes on the clock. And Lucifron might be feeling under pressure. He must know that his opponent will be up to the castle age quicker. This is a crunch game for him. He has to win this Lucifron. No mistakes can be made today for this game, at least for Lucifron anymore. Took the first game. It was a banger of a game. Took more than an hour to complete, and since then he struggled though. There's a prey attempt coming out for Lucifron. Going to challenge for the relics. It looks like Wham's going to be aggressive rather than go for the relics straight off the bat. Double stable knights. Going to be heading forward behind this. Can't afford the monastery yet. We should see whether he decides to drop a third stable or not. Whether it goes for a monastery. Feels like monastery is a bit more of a safer play, a bit more of a longer term vision. We'll have the wood for that soon, but we shall see. He's actually going to be continuing to produce from double stables, that's for sure. Actually walling up on this right side if you can as well, sending a villager that way. We'll give him a lot of map control and have access to that sacred site. That could be key as the game goes on. The knights do pop out now. On 2 of the stables. It's the third stable. It's not monastery. Well, I'm going for early aggressive play here, and I like this play. I actually have a build order for this, guys. So if you have been watching the content and you enjoy this kind of build order, I do have an English fast castle build order on the channel, so it's worth taking a look at it. Well, it's basically the same as what Wham's done here. I mean, it's quite standard. You know, when you pick up the most efficient builds you can get, well, you can't really get too many variations. It's pretty fixed. And my build is actually a 3 stable knight build as well, so do check a look at that if you're interested. But I like what I see here out of the English on Altai. And trouble for Lucifron and the Mongols is that Mongols often used to go for an outpost rush, used to be very aggressive, but things have slightly changed, and it does take a bit of a change in the meta and how we see that civilization now. They have access to the Gur starting off the game that spawns with it. The outposts have been nerfed, of course, in both HP. Now have 750 HP instead of 1000. It does take a lot longer to build as well, so Kind of hurts the Mongols a bit more than most other civilizations because, of course, Mongols rely on the outposts for their static defenses. They don't have the access to palisade walls, as you see Wham putting down the front of his base and securing his base. And so the outposts were the key static defenses that Mongols had, and so the nerfs kind of hurt them. They used the outposts for attacking purposes. We often saw an outpost rush being the traditional opening for the Mongols. As we see the Khan using his ability again. Castle Age Lancers versus Knights. Just like Wham is pulling back here, doesn't really want to engage in that. And sometimes with this build you can actually invest in the Abbey of the Kings rather than the Council Hall. But you do that at your peril if your opponent's being aggressive. So now we start to see monks coming out from the monastery. As we know, the prayer tent has been active earlier. He's already got a relic here, Lucifron. That'd be nice for him. Walls are now up, looking to get a gate. And this is rather significant because there's no passageway here. Well, there's a passageway there. Oh no, it's not. That's blocked off. There's absolutely no passageway. Often you see a passageway in between the cliffs. As you can see, look, here there's a passageway on this side. No passageway on the right side. Here comes an engagement. Wham, backing off. He hears the Wololo might be coming in, or he sees it. The Khan doesn't have the ability for the movement speed at the moment. The issue for Lucifron is it's kind of on a timer here. Although he has transitioned for the second town centre himself. 48 villagers for Wham, 40 for Lucifron, 8 villagers behind. But he does have the step redoubt, and the step redoubt will be getting a lot of gold. 8 villagers there. Add another 4 because of course the step redoubt has 50% gold drop off. And don't forget it's got relics as well. 2 have been dropped in, a 3rd coming in as well. So Lucifron playing this quite nicely on Altai. Trouble is for him, if the game goes super late, well, that's where the English shine, of course, with enclosures on their farms. Meaning that they generate gold from those farms. Will it head that way in this game? I'm not sure. We did see a big long game in the first game. As we see Lucifron getting a shaman on that central sacred site. We'll have access to that, but look at that. Wham! Picking up that sacred site on the right side. Couple of knights there, looking to get some raiding damage. Outpost hasn't gone up. The kind of knight's kind of diving underneath the town centre a little bit unnecessarily there. Does back off now, but might lose his life. Manages to get away with it just, but then there's a knight on the chase. 2 knights down the left, again, might be getting some damage. Knight's being pulled back here for Lucifron. Would it be a bit too late? There's the charge attack. There's a second swipe, goes down. Another villager goes down, and the knights will go down, but gets good value. A couple of villagers that are idle there for a few seconds, as the farms are now seeded. Continues with the knight line. You feel that Mongols will need to either get some barracks for some spearmen or continue a lot of knight production himself. Looks like he's going for the knight approach. Let's go for archery ranges, maybe crossbows. Adding a few crossbows here could be quite useful though. Sacred site in the middle has now been neutralized for the English, as a second OV has been built. First one has expired. Lancers are going to dive in. There are 2 shaman there as well. Knight will back off there for Wham, but not without a lot of HP loss. Continues to produce those knights. Really starting to build up in numbers. Knight fight here, you love to see it. Central Sacred Site being capped here by Lucifron again. Importantly, Wham has had that right side of Sacred Site for quite a period of time. Sacred Site being contested here. Well, one of the shaman does go down, and the second one. This is fantastic play by Wham. Look what he did there. He didn't let the Sacred Site be activated. He was contesting it at the last second. What does he do? He snipes the shaman once he has enough knights, and now turns around and fights. He's got better numbers here. He's got the defender's advantage as well. This is a strong point of contestation because production builders are quite close to it, but also there's boar involved. Here comes the maneuver. The knights here trying to fight for Lucifron, but doesn't have the numbers. There are crossbows behind. Crossbows are going to get good value, but there's just not enough here. Knights get a charge attack on those crossbows. A couple of crossbows do go down, but I feel like Wham is diving in a bit too far. Maybe he's overextended, but let's just check. He takes out another knight. Lucifron, but losing the... Yeah, I don't think he has overextended. He's going to get good value overall. The Khan goes down. More crossbows go down, but the knights do die as well. Shaman goes down. That's getting a charge attack. And behind this, the eco for Wham is going to be looking strong. Look at that farming economy here. 70 economy versus 52. A bit of raiding there, and this is a big issue. The village camp really starting to build up for Wham and extend. There are 3 relics there. 4 relics, in fact. That's 400 gold per minute. That's an extra 10 villagers, guys. Now it's going around on the right side, looking to get some value if they can. An outpost going in the middle. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to cap that central sacred site now. It's pretty unguarded there for Lucifron. Nice going around the right side, looking to get some raiding ability. Just keeping an eye on the deer as well. That could have been a juicy spot if the villagers were there. But the gold is an issue. If Wham can cut off the gold, that would be key. There are 3 outposts here, but without any emplacements, so the villagers garrison immediately. He's wise to the ruse. Lucifron is paying good attention here. But the thing is, the knights are just going to keep these villagers idle, and that's quite significant to do that. As the knight numbers build up again in the middle of the map. You won't want to lose too much HP though unnecessarily if you can hold it. Another group of knights rushing in, looking to get a charge attack on the villagers, but knights and crossbows coming in for Lucifron. This is not really a fight that Wham can take. As you can see, he just gets mowed down by the crossbows. Looks like it might need a horseman switch or an archer switch here out of Wham. I say archer, but I mean longbow, of course. Nice diving in again, gets a villager kill. Maybe even a second, does get a second indeed. Now it backs off again. Good value from those knights. Just now move over to this right side of God, and this is the key issue of getting the map control, getting the static defenses in terms of palisades, which the Mongols don't have access to. It means that those golds can be taken very safely here. And that's not what we can say about Lucifron's gold. That gold's been under pressure for a long time. Speaking of which, that gold now has expired. Knights might try to dive in that wood line, which we'll see. The outpost in the middle is going to be taken down, so Wham will need to buy himself some time. Plenty of food. He needs counter here. Mangonel being built on the field. That could become a problem here for Wham. Maybe can't do just man-at-arms actually. Man-at-arms wouldn't be enough. Maybe full-scale crossbows. The problem is there are mangonels being built. This is an issue for Wham, but if anyone can defend well with the English, it would be Wham. Heading forward with knights again now. Building up the numbers. Double broadaxe coming in, veterancy coming in for the longbows. Needs an answer to the mangonels. He knows about them now. We have an answer though. The spears, crossbows, mangonels. There's a very strong army here for Lucifron. Will he have enough though? 87 population versus 67. The step redact goes on the frontal lines there on the gold. We'll want to make use of that, that's for sure. Nice dive in there for Wham. Takes a really bad trade. They die almost instantly. The army looking good here for Lucifron. 46 military versus 31. The issue is the raiding value. Look at these knights getting so much value. Only a handful of villagers go down, but those 2 villagers go down the wood line. This is a problem here for Lucifron. He's going to lose villagers now, and he won't be able to translate that into army now. The resources being lost here. The knights dive in, and the trouble is there's not enough space in this town centre to garrison inside. There are no outposts. Villagers dying here. Lucifron are going to struggle here. His economy is going to be in tatters. Let's take a look. 63 villagers versus 93. That's a 30 villager lead. Sure, he's got the step out. That's not enough. It does have relics, but again, because that's not enough. Mangonels on the field, taking engagement, trying to break his way through. This could become a problem for Wham. Doesn't have any static defenses. And the knights aren't the play here. The knights get countered by both type of units here, the crossbows and spears. Might be springolds that Wham needs. Could go for archers, but the trouble is the mangonels are there. Mongols are going to head through. There's a network of castles bonus. We'll take out a knight and a spear, but the mangonels are itching forward. Look at the outposts as well going out for Lucifron. We see this also often with the Mongols. They push, get outposts so that the siege can't be pushed too easily. Or if they do, you incur losses. And that's trying to get some value on the gold on the north. And it's attacking the woodland in the south. There are spearmen on hand to defend. Lucifron keeping an eye out. He's wise to the ruse. Mangonel's getting some good hit on the longbows. I'm not sure if Wham notices this is a problem. And the issue is that the raiding bonus getting out of this, if he just needs to set buildings on fire, and if he does that, as you can see, the farm on fire, going to get him some gold here and food. As Lucifron takes the fight, Wham's going to have to try and hold on somehow. Will he be able to? Town Centre now focus firing on the spears. He can't get Springalds, of course. He's not in the right age. He's not in the castle age. There needs to be a way that Mangonels get sniped. One does get sniped. And there are Springalds on the field for Lucifron. Sorry, I take that back. They both are in the castle age. Just no siege workshop here for Wham. Oh, there must be. He's got Springled. I haven't noticed it. It's a back siege workshop. It's keeping it safe and secure at the back. Apologies for that. Of course, they are in the castle age. Quite late where I am now. Okay, nice and longbows and crossbows there for Wham. A decent army composition. If you can get rid of the Mangonels, the push will be grinding to a halt. 2 more Springles being built on the field. You feel like the Mongols need to push hard. He's been behind on economy for quite a period of time. Wham on 94 villages versus the 75. That is a significant difference as the game goes on. Every minute, every second means that Wham is differentially getting more resources. So Lucifron trying to up the tempo. The army's starting to build up. I feel like it's going to be one big showdown here. Springald's itching forward there for Lucifron. Might be looking to take an engagement. The Mangonel there. If that gets sniped for Lucifron, that could become a problem. There don't appear to be Springald's on hand. Just the one Springald on hand for Wham. He has to backtrack. It's 2 versus 1 on the Springald count. 3 versus 1. Let's take a look. Look, he's focusing on the buildings here. The longbows are focusing on the crossbows. That's the big issue. If the crossbows go down, that could become an issue for Lucifron. Does have a lot of spears though. Mangonel's looking to get some more bounty, raid bounty on these farms. Resources trickling from those bounties would be quite nice, the raiding. Mangonel gets another shot on the longbows. There is a Springald though. One of the Mangonels goes down and it does force Lucifron to try and build more. The Springalds are kind of useless at this point there for Wham. Sorry, for Lucifron rather. For Lucifron. I get confused with the colours. They've changed for this match for some reason. One Springald might go down. We'll have to see. Nope, stays alive. Trouble is, Lucifron has outposts with emplacements now. Springald emplacements. That's going to be hard to push. There's a keep now on the left side. That will give access to stone and wood again for Wham. Over being depleted. Needs to be resituated. Outpost rush continues. 23-minute outpost rush coming out from the Mongols. Well, they can't do it in Dark Age. They'll do it in Castle Age. This is interesting. It looks like Wham is saving his military. He wants to take one big decisive fight, and that's very smart because when you're up against the English, it's often one big fight that happens and things tend to snowball. The match up against the English is very snowbally. You can see 2 Mangonels. Feel there's not enough Springals here for the English. This could be a massacre, we shall see. Oh, but nice getting good value here on the gold vein. Lucifron not noticing until too late. He garrisons, but he lost a lot there. 87 versus 104. Again, villager count so ahead for the English. As I say that, Lucifron is pressurizing the town centre. He's diving underneath the town centre. That is not wise. He's getting taken out for free. He needs a trebuchet really at this point, you feel. Mangonel try and get shot off from the longbows. It doesn't happen. The game's starting to heat up. Game number 5. Yep, Lucifron being aggressive. This doesn't go off though. If this doesn't work, he could be in trouble. More villagers going down, and this is an issue for Lucifron. There hasn't been able to stem the bleeding here of the villagers. Another village goes down, and another one, and another one. He's just hemorrhaging here, Lucifron. What does he have on the front lines? The push isn't strong enough. There's no trebuchets. Only trebuchets for the red, and that's Wham, not Lucifron. But it's just going to go down on the food here, and there's nothing that he feels he can do about it. He needs crossbows. There's more knights here, just taking the reinforcements. This is a massacre. Lucifron losing everything. 73 villagers to 103. He isn't reacting. He hasn't got any village garrison inside the town centre. He's too busy pushing forward, but in the meantime, his base is getting demolished. And Lucifron is not paying attention here. Oh my god, Lucifron only has 2 villages in gold. That is a significant problem here. On the right side, there are 3 Springalds, but they're just making their way slowly progressing with outposts as well. What are the English doing there? Where is the military for the English? It's going down the last villages. Holy moly, that's a lot of villagers going that way. Army's heading towards the keep. A lot of farming economy exposed here though. Army on scattered formation just in case the Mangonel pops up. Wow, I'm spending his resources now quite frantically. See more Mangonels being built on the field. 26 minutes into the game, you feel like Lucifron's on a timer here. 76 villagers versus 105. He knows he lost a lot of villagers and now trying to push. This is the last chance game for him. He needs to win here. At least it's the last chance for this qualification event. Of course there are more, so Lucifron can bring himself back in qualification contention if he doesn't win this one. But you know, he could do a reverse sweep from here. Well, not a reverse sweep, but he could win the next plentiful games to win the set. It depends. He's putting a lot of aggression here and that's the key. Stonewalling here. And the gold being denied again. Villagers going down even more. There are a couple of man-at-arms, but you feel it's not enough. Crossbows edging further forward. 79 villages, but 21 of them are idle. 109 villages, none of them are idle for Wham. Eco balance just looking stronger here for Wham, that's for sure. As you can see, villagers preoccupied with rebuilding outposts or repairing them. And those couple of knights getting huge value. Of course they go down, but they die for a good cause. As the man-at-arms try and dive the town centres. Longbows need to be there, knights need to be there, this needs to be denied. The knights going to try and charge in against the man-at-arms, they get the charge attack. The ram does go down, there is a Mangonel there, so Ram needs to be careful. Trouble is, he's diving underneath the town centre, the man-at-arms will be able to tank it, but not so much the crossbows. Knights do attack with crossbows. So the man-at-arms. Couple of Springalds coming out as well. Khan has been killed. That's a massive blow to the Mongols. As we see a big fight in the base there. Wham looking good to hold this perhaps, but the units are starting to overwhelm somewhat. They're all over the place there. The army is so under pressure from those 2 Mangonels. Looks like Wham doesn't have a response to those Mangonels. That could become an issue. Mangonel's back off, and this is a problem for Lucifron. He hasn't been able to do a killer blow, and he probably should know that his opponent is ahead on eco, especially with the number of villages he's lost and the idle time caused. He's building more siege. Springalds coming out. It's going to turn into mass siege again, quite possibly. Kind of waiting for one last push here for the Mongols. No trebuchet behind. They're relatively expensive, but feel like things are teeing up here for a fight. The army coming out. The army coming out to play for Lucifron. He's attacking. 2 Mangonels, 3 Springalds. What does Wham have in contest for this? He needs to take care of the Springalds. He needs to take care of the Mangonels. Until he does that, he's going to focus fire on the spears. If you take the spears out, that'd be keen. 29 minutes on the clock. Trouble is, if Lucifron doesn't win this engagement, you feel like you can't win the game. This gets a good hit, but the Springalds take out the Mangonels. Yep, the Mangonels are down. Springal versus Springal, this is fantastic. Actually, there are 2 Mangonels still. They just packed up and moving. Army heading forward, and now it's Lucifron's turn to pay the punch. And it looks like Lucifron only has 42 military versus the 55. Things are escalating for Wham. The economy really started to boost in, and there it is. There's the GG. Lucifron taps out. Wham takes the set 4-1, and he is the gentleman that progresses to the main event. He is your champion today. Wham is the man that gets the golden ticket to Redbull Wololo Legacy, Castle Heidelberg in Germany. What a fantastic set. Well played by Lucifron, especially in that first game, which was over an hour long. That was incredible. But since then, Wham has been dominant in this set, and he fully deserves to qualify for this event, this main event. Lucifron will be back, I'm sure. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you enjoyed this casted game and this set, and if you did, do give the video a thumbs up. But there's plenty of Age of Empires 4 content on the channel. If you missed the other grand final between Vortex and Hut, one of those two players, Vortex and Hut, have also guaranteed their place in the Redbull Wololo Legacy main event. If you want to see that matchup, that set, that casted game, that grand final, do click the right hand card screen now. Take care and see you next time.